More injuries for the Buffalo Bills. They were on the practice field earlier this morning. We have not gotten any official word on any of these players, but they were not seen at practice. And they do include Ty Johnson, Skylar Bell, Connor McGovern, Maxwell Harrison, Cole Bishop, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Bills are off tomorrow, so we're going to hear from head coach Joe Brady at the earliest on Thursday. But before practice today at morning press conferences, we did hear from defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, who appeared to give us a hint on what the plan could be for preseason game number 1.
I think the plan is for guys to play and get a taste of the scheme. As far as I'm concerned, guys are going to go play. To be determined a little bit on how much, but it's going to be exciting for guys to get out there and just kind of let it rip.
Bills are going to host the Carolina Panthers on Saturday at 1 p.m. Before preseason games, though, have begun, the Vikings have already named their starting quarterback, and they are going to be going with former Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray. Murray, 29 years old, started just 5 games last year as he was dealing with a foot sprain. Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins carted off the field earlier today with what appeared to be a lower leg injury. No word yet on the severity of that. And then the Colts, they're going to have Anthony Richardson start at quarterback for their first preseason game against the Patriots on Thursday. Bison's on the road tonight, taking on Worcester. First pitch at 6:45. The Yankees are home against Seattle at 7:05. 7:07, the Jays host the Red Sox. And then at 7:15, the Mets, they are down in Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
You know, I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
I've often wondered that.
Like he, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronoun. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well?
Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And
wow.
you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Poor Scott Norwood. 35 and a half years. Still his name besmirched.
Yeah.
47 yards on grass. Would have been a career long on grass. Under the utmost pressure. Not just to win the Super Bowl, but to win the Super Bowl for a city that had never won it. And here we are this many years later, and that pressure just grows.
I don't at all mean to speak for anyone but myself, but
and Satan.
Well, that's it. In that what we just heard, I'm not really blaming him. It's Satan. I'm giving Norwood a pass there. That clearly, I mean, that's what's stated in that bit there. I'm pretty sure.
Do you think about the Super Bowl years anymore? Like, does it? The Bills are good now.
Yeah.
So, do you ever think about like what might have been, or just what does it mean in your life?
I can't. I want to flippantly say nothing. It's a long time ago. I don't care. But that would be dishonest. I'd just be trying to be cute and unaffected. I think it means having gone through it, it makes this era. It feels that much more urgent for them to get something done now while they're in this pocket with Allen in his prime, and not have this go by the wayside, because it was we all know it was a long time from they were pretty good for 96, not going to Super Bowls, but still 96, 98, 99 were playoff teams.
Yeah,
that to varying degrees, that people will tell you that 99 team had a look at it if they didn't get done in by Music City Miracle, but that's there's a lot of things you can say that about.
Can I just say here though about that 99 for starters, or up front 96, 98? There are dozens of NFL teams like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I
mean. There's a lot of things you could say that about. Sure, absolutely.
They just had 96 anyway, and then apart from Kelly, 98, 99 had those all-time greats on the field.
Yeah.
So there was, same uniform. not the same coach, not the same quarterback. Just thinking about this year, although the same quarterback. But, like, enough of it was the same where there was connective tissue between the beginning of the
it made
Marv
it feel
Kelly.
like it made it feel like 97 was a blip when they missed and Marv retired and then Wade took over, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna keep going, and then that didn't happen.
Marv retired at 71. He was like 61. He was 61, I believe, when he got hired, but he had lied about his age.
Right.
And then Leo Roth busted him.
Yeah, that came out
in
later.
a nice way.
Yeah.
Because Leo doesn't do anything in a way other than a nice way.
Right.
So, yeah, Marv sort of cheated on his application for the Bills job.
Yeah, when Leo brought it to him, Marv he didn't try to, he just copped to it. Yeah. When I got hired, I shaved a couple years off of there because I didn't want to be hired as a 60-year-old. I thought it would be, make it.
He went for 58. He took 3 years off of it, right?
Right.
I was on the desk in Rochester editing those articles, like Leo and those guys. So he was 61, but he said he was 58 when he got the Bills job. Now he's 101. Anyway. Where were we?
Urgency. Like, having been through the Super Bowls, that is mostly what the residue of that is. What that leaves is, boy, you're really good again. You're one of the best teams in the league. Close the deal here. Let's get one done. Like I don't think about that in that way. I try not to think about that way all the time. Because I think that is where you can get to, I can't wait to beat the Chiefs in November and feel nothing. All that matters is what happens in February, not even January anymore. The Bills haven't even made it past January, but like February is what matters. And I try not to, it's hard, but I try not to live in that space because I don't think that's, the speech. 2007 taught me a lesson. I want to try to smell the flowers and appreciate every day and, enjoy every sandwich, whatever here.
What is this, The Sound of Music?
I don't know.
You, Rodgers and Hammerstein?
I'm giving you
Enjoy every sandwich.
I'm giving you Warren Zevon on Letterman. The final.
Okay, that's better.
You love that.
I
you
do.
enjoy every sandwich. He was dying when he was on the show the last time, and he said, "My advice is to enjoy every sandwich."
That's very good.
So I thought you'd like that, but you missed it.
Missed it. I went for musicals.
You went for
which is embarrassing.
Suddenly, I'm in the country
Climb
wearing
every
a
mountain.
dress singing.
It's 5 letters and 8 letters. You can't blame me too hard.
Yeah. So that's I think what it leaves, and that's I think to varying degrees. I don't always do a great job of not dwelling on that, like anyone. Maybe I do it better than some people, but not always. I try not to be a gatekeeper about getting obsessed with the playoffs because I have my moments.
Well, the thing is, like, if we were in some, if you will, neutral market, thinking about like the last 7 or 8 years of NFL football and results and, legacy stuff, Mahomes, Kansas City, we might spend a day or two on what the Bills and Ravens have accomplished, quote, accomplished in this league. Aaron Schatz has top 5-year average DVOA going back the entire Super Bowl era. The 90s Bills are not on it. This is no Super Bowl wins in the last, now it's actually 60 years, right? So you don't see, the Bulldog, the Chargers with Fouts and Coryell are at the bottom of this list. The Bills don't come in above that. Now that's one metric, but it's well-respected DVOA. So, you have this list. You have the Rivers Chargers. You have the early Woodley to Marino Dolphins, some Alex Smith Chiefs. They all come in above the Kelly Bills. However, the only team on this list behind, or the highest team behind the 07 to 11 Patriots, that's the undefeated season, that's 2 Super Bowl years where they lose to the Giants, is the Allen Bills. And then once you get past an early Raiders team, John Madden, LaMonica to Stabler. Then it's the Lamar Jackson Ravens. And we've known this. We've talked about this. If we were in, where do you want us to be? Minnesota or someplace talking about sort of what the last X number of years in the NFL have represented, we might say, look, I mean, you have 2 of the 5 greatest teams of the Super Bowl era are the Bills and the Ravens since COVID, and neither has touched the championship round,
Right.
which is incredible. So, I mean, when you talk about the 90s Bills, well, I mean, you're making a different point, and it's not wrong, of course. I mean, like, it's urgency and it's what it would mean to win. But what this chart says, and I've thought this a long time, is like this is only up until 24, but still, these last 5-6 years of the Bills are probably the best 5 or 6 years in team history.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not even close, but they have not made it.
Right.
And the 90s Bills had it, I mean, dare I say it, pretty easy in the conference, in the division, getting through and then getting to play at home with the advantage of getting the Colts and Jets and Patriots, who were all terrible in those years, like 6-0, nice little start. And then, home field, and it would snow, and, there you go.
Just the fact that it was a different team in each of the 4 championship games that they played and won tells you, like, there wasn't a Kansas City standing there in the way. It was, it was the Raiders, and I mean the Bills absolutely annihilated them. They squeezed by the Broncos, beat the Chiefs, and then beat the Dolphins. There's no repeat in there. The Bills were the constant, and maybe Miami was, just to win the division was the biggest thing you needed to do, because maybe Miami was the second most dangerous team in that era.
I think 90, that's probably right. And, maybe again, 92, I mean, you have to go there and win.
Right.
So that would seem fair to say. Well, okay.
Aren't they also, do you know this? This came up one day, and I can't seem to word a search correctly to get a result. But I thought I had seen something recently that the Bills, having now won a playoff game in each of the last 6 years without even having been to the Super Bowl, let alone, I don't think you have to have won it. I think to even get there, it's never happened. That a team has won. I think that's right, but I haven't been able to verify it. I saw it somewhere. I thought that could be right. That makes sense, but I haven't been able to sort of background check it.
I will look, and I know right where to look. My guess is that is probably right. There's also the stat where the Rams from 73 to 79 or somewhere in there, what is that? 7 years? What are the Bills? With at least one playoff win.
6 years. 20. They've won all game since 20 in the playoffs.
Okay. The Rams change coaches from Knox to Malavasi at the end of that. They make the Super Bowl in 79, Super Bowl 14, but they lose. And even that sets them apart from the Bills because the Bills have not even made it.
Yeah.
And the Rams hold the record for the longest streak of playoff seasons or seasons with a playoff win, one of the two. I think it's just playoff seasons without a championship. And the Bills are 1 year away. If you do without a championship, just, in general, you take 19 into account for the Bills. Like the Houston
as a
game,
playoff appearance, that's
they've
7
been
years in a row.
7 years in a row.
Right.
And to not even get to the Super Bowl in that amount of time is it's historic or almost. And then, the Ravens are mostly the same thing. The Ravens have had a year or two where they've missed entirely last year.
Yeah.
And then another year, whatever that was when they lost to the Bengals. That might have been a wild card game.
Yeah.
The play at the 1 yard line.
Right. Yeah.
But there might have been another one where they missed. I mean, you have these Jackson injury spells, and they don't have the same kind of streak as the Bills do. But still, like, they're, by DVOA, almost as good over that 5 year span through 24.
They have within that they have the 1 year where they got the one and hosted Kansas City and still didn't get there.
Yeah.
The Bills have never had that. They've never had a season even that good.
That's their version of, or better said, I think the Bills' version of that is losing at home to the Chiefs the week before.
Right. They
that
would have
game.
gone to Baltimore. Right.
They would have gone to Baltimore had they beaten the Chiefs, but they didn't. And what happens in Baltimore? Kansas City has a first drive for the ages. It's like there's a 4th down pass to Kelsey against Hamilton. He's not even open. The ball is perfect. They score. Ravens get it back. Then you have Flowers fumbling at the 1.
Right.
And you just have, it's very, very similar
Right.
to our lives.
Yeah, so it's sort of a calamitous set of things that you can, like, that really happened? We were that close? And we couldn't, like, they've got their fair share of that.
The Bills have 13 seconds. The Bills have the Kincaid drop, I've never liked calling it a drop, but his hands around the ball.
Yeah.
They have that. They have the Bass miss at home.
And Cooks last year.
And then Cooks last year. The Ravens have the Andrews drop here.
That would have tied the game. Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, they dominate that game, but a couple of turnovers and they lose.
Right, that would have won the game for them, actually.
No,
right?
tied.
It would have tied it? Okay, it was a 2-point.
I think 28-26, I think. No?
I'm trying to remember. I'm you know what? I'm mixing up that game with the 1-point win on opening day last year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm not positive. I think I'm right.
And I
but
think
I'm
you're
not.
right. I think it would have tied it, and I was mixing up the scores.
27-25.
Okay, yeah.
Would have tied it.
And last year was 41-40?
41-40.
Okay.
Scoregami.
Okay, right. That's why it stands out. I knew that. Don't stop pointing at me.
I mean, I haven't talked to any of those guys from the 90s Bills in a long time. Even Steve. Like, I just don't cross paths with him. I tried for Thurman in Chicago that weekend, didn't get him. He was there, Jim, Andre, Bruce, Marv Levy. It's been a long time since I've connected with any of those players. Daryl Talley, we've all had them on the show and the station many times. But you just got to hope as we all get older, and I think this is probably the case, that everybody's at peace, like, all right, well, we didn't win, but our lives are good. We're getting called to these autograph shows. Even maybe internally we have sort of a peace and self-satisfaction. Because, the talk show brand of all that is like that will just define them.
Yeah.
Is to lose those games would define them.
I think that is it's an obviously easy thing, I think, for people from a distance to say about a group of players or even specific, like the quarterback especially, right? And I think you really have to work probably at it. I feel like I've gotten this impression from talking to those guys. I also haven't spoken to any of them in quite a long time. I've seen Thurman within the last year, but we didn't talk about this. Like I think
you have to tiptoe,
right? I think you probably have to work to get to a point where you don't, at some point while you're having your coffee in the morning, think about it, even for just a fleeting moment, right? Just have it sort of pass through you, like, oh, like I think you have to work, and I think you can honestly do that and come out the other side and be like, honestly say, yeah, no, I don't think about it all the time. I hardly ever think about it anymore at all. It's a long time ago. My life is good. I'm happy. Grandchildren, whatever these people have at this point in their lives, that's making them happy and fulfilling them. Like, it's believable to me that you would not, all these years later, be sitting around thinking about it. I still, every now and then, I still think about the Cook. I just mentioned the Cooks play from the Denver game. Like, just catch the ball. Come on.
Well, let me ask you this. Will that game, you've said many times for 5 years now, about 13 seconds, that game will haunt us until they win. And that is to say that no other losses in between will really change that.
Yeah.
Is that not correct? Like, I still think it's that.
It is still that. Yeah, the Cooks thing, for one thing, there isn't, not that everyone, no, I think maybe the 13 seconds thing is the most universally agreed upon, loss, blame for like what happened. There's not a lot of arguing. Right, we couldn't. The Cooks play. Half the fan base or more, thinks it was a catch. So you can't even get agreement on what happened, let alone put it on the Mount Rushmore of dejection or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, this is the word that came out.
Mount dejection.
Mount dejection. 13
Mount
seconds
sadness.
still. Yeah, no, it outranks. It
Cooks
just,
doesn't make to Mount Sadness.
no, I don't think so. It's like it's frustrating. It's only the division. It just doesn't. I mean, 13 seconds was the divisional round too.
Still.
But still, it just.
That was the one.
The heater that they were on, I mean, the perfect game the week before in New England, to go into Kansas City and keep answering like that after Tyreek Hill scores, after the 2-minute warning, you're right back again. Like, they looked, and we know that what you looked like the previous week, there's no momentum, right? 51-3 turned into 20-19, a loss. So they didn't carry over into the Super Bowl. So, who knows what would have happened the next week when they hosted Cincinnati. But still, like, they looked like maybe the best, their passing offense anyway, ever has looked.
13 seconds is where it turned from this is just absolutely the roller coaster is going up. Yeah, you lost the year before, but look at this guy. I mean, you're going to go beat him in that stadium. That's where it's like that kickoff is the peak of the entire Bills thing. Maybe ever, but certainly in this era, it's the absolute peak. And then ever since, by the time you're in the next season, and that's Hamlin, and then the Bengals, and Diggs is screaming at Allen on the sideline, like now it's coming apart a little bit. And they've done well the 3 years since to keep,
to stay at the level they've been at, right?
But, roller coasters are not all up and down. There's stretches where you're sort of like staying level. But that game is the one where then you change from, okay, well, this is a phenomenon in the making, to, is there something wrong? And then Mahomes is like he kind of owns them. And the next, they go 3 more times and they beat the Bills 2 more times. And that's always like, you can't have a conversation about the Allen Bills without mentioning the Chiefs.
No, that's right.
It's just like it's 4 playoff losses in 6 years.
Why haven't they won one? Why haven't they been to a Super Bowl? The Chiefs. Mostly.
It's
I still think that the Hamlin year marred that Bengals loss in a way that I don't think that team was going anywhere. I just think eventually they were going to run out of gas. They ran out of gas against the Bengals. I think it could have happened easily the next week if they had beaten the Bengals. I just think they would have
gone to Kansas City.
They would have been on E at some point, and it happened. So like that year, that's almost over there. Like I don't think I have a Bengals problem. I might. Maybe we'll find out this year if I have a Bengals problem. But I don't think I do.
I so don't want to have a Bengals
I think
problem.
there's extenuating circumstances that I can sort of separate that game. But the rest of it is it's the Chiefs. It's all the Chiefs. I mean, no offense to the Broncos who did it last year.
Ugh, the Broncos. Now there's that.
Stupid Broncos.
But, like we're right here, and then 13 seconds happens. That's an all-timer. The next year they lose at home. That wasn't supposed to ever happen. The next year they lose at home. Then it's Kansas City at home as well. Nope. Then at Arrowhead, right there, great shape, fourth quarter, ahead. Nope. And really, since 21, they're a team that's more famous for their losses. You can only be the Drought Bills were never famous for losses because no one cared.
No, right.
But you can only be the plus side of it. You can only be this if you're really good. Manning's Colts, Steve Young's 49ers couldn't beat Dallas. Then they do though, and Manning's Colts also do. You got to beat Kansas City in the playoffs for it to really matter. I mean, you could beat someone else.
I mean,
last year you had that chance.
That
didn't
might
happen
be
either.
That might be the piece of the Bronco game that hangs the most bitterly is that you were going to New England. You weren't going to Kansas City if you won that game.
That would have been a great game.
You were going to New England, and
that would have been a great game to talk about.
Yeah.
Who's up to this?
But there's no, there's
It's
no.
May
We all know
versus
there's
Allen.
no Lamar, no Mahomes, no Burrow, the deck is completely cleared, and you just that's what the Cooks catch rolls right into that, or like that rolls right into the Cooks. Whatever, it's all connected, and that's where the frustration I think still lies for me.
Tough one. By one, I mean this segment.
Yeah.
Tough say.
Yeah.
That's my fault. You said Scott Norwood, and I just went there.
Tone setter.
Paul Hamilton next. What happened at practice today? Injury news and more. Marcel Louis-Jacques today, ESPN, Miami. Are we all being too casual? Maybe. I'm not being too serious, so I might be being too casual about the Dolphins.
I'm definitely casual about the Dolphins.
Yeah, you are. And I am too. Never the Jets, but this time the Dolphins.
I'm getting there on the Jets.
You're getting to a point where you're
I'm
taking it for granted?
I'm getting to, why did I ever think that there was going to be anything other than a year where Aaron Glenn gets fired?
2 tweets where Geno Smith is throwing a pick in training camp, and you're like, yeah, what was I doing?
It's enough of that.
I
Check,
was crazy.
please. Yep.
Check, please. All right, so Paul next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. 803-0550 for your calls. We'll get there. This is WGR.
For more comfort,
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
Do you think about the Super Bowl years anymore? Like, does it? The Bills are good now.
Yeah.
So do you ever think about like what might have been, or just what does it mean in your life?
I can't. I want to flippantly say nothing. It's a long time ago. I don't care. But that would be dishonest. I'd just be trying to be cute and unaffected. I think it means having gone through it, it makes this era. It feels that much more urgent for them to get something done now while they're in this pocket with Allen in his prime, and not have this go by the wayside, because it was we all know it was a long time from they were pretty good for, in 96, not going to Super Bowls, but still 96, 98, 99 were playoff teams.
Yeah.
That, to varying degrees, that people will tell you that 99 team had a look at it if they didn't get done in by Music City Miracle, but that's, there's a lot of things you can say that about.
Can I just say here, though, about that, 99 for starters, or up front, 96, 98, there are dozens of NFL teams like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
what I mean. There's a lot of things you could say that about. Sure, absolutely.
They just had, 96 anyway, and then apart from Kelly, 98, 99, had those all-time greats on the field.
Yeah.
So there was, the same uniform, not the same coach, not the same quarterback. Just thinking about this year, although the same quarterback. But, enough of it was the same where there was connective tissue between the beginning of the
it made
Marv
it feel
Kelly.
like it made it feel like 97 was a blip when they missed and Marv retired. And then Wade took over, and it's like, we're just going to keep going. And then, that didn't
It's Paul Hamilton.
Oh, Cervatic and Hamilton going to each other, and Sawinski fights into it.
We have the fight.
With Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Snodcheck was just totaled by an Iowa State player against the board.
I think it was by Hamilton.
On WGR.
Really a pretty unnecessary hit by Hamilton. Hamilton is still awfully mad. He's being held back.
Number 17, Paul Hamilton. 2 minutes for charging, 5 minutes for fighting, and a misconduct.
Sports Radio 550.
I'll never get over that guy's voice. Hamilton is still pretty mad, it seems. I don't know. I mean, that guy was not a broadcasting student. He was filling in from the math department. Not to stereotype. I love my math. I also love my baseball rules stuff. We've got me, former umpire. Hi. We've got Bulldog, Red Sox fan. He will bet against them, but he kind of likes them, I think, still. And we've got Paul, venerable.
I like winning.
Baseball play-by-play announcer.
Winning bets.
Does any of us understand what happened last night in Toronto, really?
Do you know about this, Paul?
Yeah, the 4th out.
Yeah.
4th out?
Holy.
What is this?
I was watching the Met game last night because I still haven't ponied up for speaking of my Red Sox fandom, for any kind of a baseball TV package where I can watch my team every night. So I'm watching the Mets, and Gary Cohen starts explaining, like, you're not going to believe what happened in this Red Sox-Blue Jays game, and he explains the whole thing, and I'm just sort of staring at my TV like, what is happening right now? What?
I think it's logistics, like the scoreboard operator or even the Red Sox, like, somehow they had to know how many outs there were.
Right.
And they didn't agree on that or didn't assume what was correct.
The umpire, I read a couple of stories about this, and the crew chief, I guess that's who would talk to the media after, I think it was anyway. One of the umpires, I assume it's the crew chief, said, the scoreboards aren't, they're not
official.
We need to know we're in charge of the game. The scoreboard is there for the fans. And so, I'm not, I don't know that he said anything about whether he noticed or not, or anyone can, but we're not here to correct the scoreboard. We knew how many outs there were. It just seems the Boston players that were on first and third didn't know how many outs there were. They thought there were 2 outs because that's what the scoreboard said.
Both, by the way, flanked by coaches.
Right.
Who didn't tell them the real truth.
So
to me, that's more of the problem than the confusion and all that. It's just like, how do you got 2 guys on base and neither one of them know how many outs there are?
Right.
I understand maybe 1. The Yankees are good for that, but I don't know if I've ever seen 2.
Right.
And then the 4th out is basically just, all right, you've got the 3 outs, but the run scored, but the run, you could challenge that. And then all of a sudden you see the run didn't score, and you can appeal it, and then that's how you get the 4th out. Because now you've appealed it over there, and the umpire says, well, that's an out. There's your 4th out, and now the run doesn't score.
But that's not what happened last night.
I could see the runner on first, apart from the coaches. That's its own issue. I could see the runner on first with the third base runner, the runner on third in front of him, taking his cue from that.
Right.
And, like, that's across the diamond. That you see the fly ball. If the runner on third is not tagging, then neither am I.
Just puts his head down and starts jogging the home plate. You're like, oh, there must be 2 outs.
Yeah, I might fall for that.
Yep.
I guess. Anyway, Paul, I mean, that would be a broadcaster's dream, wouldn't it? To have to
I'm not going to lie to you. If I was calling that, I don't know where I would have been trying to call that.
I have no idea where the I've not watched the footage of it. Like, I don't know where either the Toronto or Boston announcers were on what was all happening, because I might assume that that wasn't explained during the 16-minute delay what was happening. Right?
I could see Schulman getting that right.
Might have been a lot of confusion.
Either. Yeah. All right, Paul. Well, to business. What's new with the Bills today?
Well, just we talked to Keon Coleman, but the thing that really I look at, all right, where's Keon Coleman at when you look at receivers? I mean, there's DJ Moore, of course. There's Shakir, and Josh Palmer has just been phenomenal. Right near the end of practice, he got open. I don't know if there was a guy within 5 yards of him. I mean, he just shook his man so easily, and he's been doing it all training camp. And Josh Allen threw the ball a little high, and he went and got it. He went up and got it, and it was a little bit overthrown, and it would have been probably a touchdown if we were, in a real game. But he's been doing it the whole camp. So, all right, there's him. So where does Keon Coleman fit in now? There's your 3. Mm-hmm. Are you going to put him at 4? Yeah, obviously, I guess.
Yep.
But Dante Pettis is also a guy that Josh Allen likes. So, where does he fit in? Hardman is a return guy. Where does he fit in, if he does? Skylar Bell, somebody they've liked a lot, who is injured right now. So where does he fit in? How does all this play with Coleman? But I brought it up just because of the camp that Palmer's had, and it just seems like every practice, Sal or now myself are sitting here talking about something that he does.
Yeah, I would understand if a guy like Palmer, like he seems, Paul, we've only known him for a little more than a year here as a Bills player. I don't know him at all, but I mean, experiencing him, through you and Sal and reporters and whatever. He's just like a pretty low-key, pretty quiet guy, like not demonstrative, not like a receiver diva type, right?
He's Canadian.
Okay, there it is. Right. But I, with that said, it would make sense if he's got a, like, I can play, damn it, sort of attitude, because I think for a lot of us, even talking to Sal over the offseason, like, they draft Skylar Bell, and we talk about Brandon Cooks, and it's like we're just waiting for Josh Palmer to get hurt so they can make a move at receiver. Not even, like, considering that he might be good. Just like, well, if he gets hurt again, then they'll probably do something, kind of attitude. And, if I'm Palmer, I might want to, like, make a stand.
No, definitely. And he tried to come back last year early, at the end of the year, and it just wasn't working for him. I mean, there's a lot of speed in his game. And if he doesn't have that, I mean, it basically is going to take him out of it. And he just, if I'm not I think I remember him admitting that maybe he came back too early because he so desperately wanted to play. And this is your new team, and you want to help your teammates, and you want to try to be available if you can, and it just wasn't working for him at all. I mean, obviously, watching him now, I mean, he's ready to roll. I mean, he is not injured. He's 100%, or seems to be. And, now we're getting an opportunity to see him function at full speed, and again, I understand it's training camp. We haven't even seen a preseason game yet. We also are looking at a defense that's started trying to get used to the new defensive coordinator and a brand new defense, plus some new guys in the defensive secondary. So all that it takes into account. He's still making plays, and as I said, the play he made today. Yeah, he got open. How much is that is him? How much of it is the defense broke down? But as I said, Allen kind of overthrew him a little bit, and he went up and got it, and basically got it in stride. He had to reach for it, but it was a really nice catch.
Do you guys think who starts or who maybe doesn't dress Saturday is big to this, Palmer and Coleman?
Yeah, I don't even think if there's my opinion, I mean, I don't know anything, but you maybe.
Does one sit and one not?
I would be stunned if Palmer dressed for a preseason game.
Okay.
With what he has,
So then Coleman does?
Coleman absolutely does.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they've done, we did start out here talking about Coleman, but Palmer obviously factors in because he's ahead of Coleman, and I think deservedly so. What I mostly wanted to see the Bills do, Paul, with Coleman this spring and summer training camp, whatever, was okay. You don't have to give him away for a 5th-round pick or whatever you might be able to do at this point, but you definitely don't want to count on him. Like make him, if he is going to be someone who matters for you and have a uniform on game day, he's going to have to earn it. And I think that means he's going to have to go make plays with Kyle Allen and Shane Buechele throwing him the ball.
Exactly what I was going to say.
In these preseason games. Because he has the most to prove of anyone here. Even though Palmer had a lost year, he's a pro and he does everything right, and it was all health-related. So I would assume he's over there with the starters. And now, I don't know, maybe Joe Brady will play starters or something, but I'm guessing no. And so I would think Coleman is someone who should play in the preseason, maybe even a lot.
Seems like Leonard was indicating he's got some starters
Yeah.
to be in on defense. That's defense, though.
Yep.
That's not Josh Allen. That's not a guy like Palmer, like you just explained. I wouldn't be shocked if Coleman played at least a half and even more into a third quarter. I mean, he needs it. He needs to play, and he needs to show everybody that he can be counted on, that he can get open, that he doesn't drop the football, and that this off season has been, not a mirage, that, he did put the work in. It's interesting just to hear Spencer Brown talk about him today, because they're right next to each other in the locker room. And, he said last year or the last 2 years, he said there used to be a lot going on over there at his locker. Because now it's more calm, it's more relaxed, and he said, I think he's definitely focusing more on football now. So it just seems like a lot of the chaos that we saw and heard about was going on behind closed doors too, or over his locker. It sounds like his locker was the place to be.
Yep.
And that doesn't seem like it's that way anymore. So that would be an indication right there that maybe this kid is growing up a little bit. But still, and the problem with him is it's not just he was late, and because he was late he missed some games and he was immature. He couldn't afford that because I don't think was an NFL caliber receiver yet when he came in. There was a lot for him to learn. And it wasn't helping him that he was immature and not learning. I mean, he needed to learn, how do I get on the same page with a quarterback? How do I understand the quarterback and I need see the same thing at the line of scrimmage? Or when it's time to make a break where you've got the option of going option A or option B, that the quarterback and you see the same thing and you both go to the same option. I mean, those two just seem to be turned around quite often, and whether, during. So that's what I think really hurt him too, was he needed to become a polished NFL receiver, and he wasn't even at that point yet. And then all the rest of the stuff going around him in his orbit, I think just made it even harder for him now.
Paul, how did you find him at the podium? Like you've talked to a lot of athletes over the years, hockey players, football players, baseball, whatever. You're experienced. Like, did you find him comfortable talking openly about what he's learned and the missteps and all that, or like just how did you find him today?
I did for about half the conversation, and then one of his teammates was on him, and he lost his focus, and it got a little wonky after that.
Yeah.
He when he's talking about Brady, he got a little, he was kidding around. Nothing wrong with kidding around, but got way off track there. And, Brady wants to be a wide receiver, and I tell him this, that, the other thing. He probably didn't need to say that. Type of a thing. So, yeah, but because he said, he goes, I lost my place there, sorry. And then he was talking about DJ Moore at the time and then got back into it. So, but yes, I thought I did see a more mature person sitting there for, he went about 7 minutes or so. So I'd say for the first 3-4 minutes, I did see a more mature, I need to play better. I like what Josh Allen and I are doing each and every day. Talking about he needs to understand what he's looking at to get on the same page with Allen. So they're looking at the same thing. So Allen will go to him. As he said, there's one ball. And he goes, so when the ball finds you, you better make a play, because if you don't, the next person's going to. So, he's got that in his head now, too, that, I got to make a play when it comes.
Paul, we have about Go ahead. We have about 90 seconds. You mentioned Jim Leonard. Quote, I think the plan is for guys to play. He doesn't know? What do you think he's doing there? Is he just trying to get through it? He doesn't know if the plan is for his starters to play, or is he just talking?
He at least has a pretty good idea.
Sure, better. Right. He better.
I think they've had the meeting, and now he may not know how. Is that Oliver going to play more than somebody else who's a starter? Is that Oliver going to play more than Rousseau, or is it going to be even?
Right.
Or are the safeties who are newer, are they going to play a little bit more? Are you going to get more out of the secondary or the linebackers than maybe are out of some of the guys up front? That I know that Chubb is new to the team, but Chubb knows what he's doing.
Right.
I mean, you don't need to really roll him out there. So I think that maybe is what he means, is each starter isn't created equal. That's, I guess, what I would take away from it, because, they have these meetings. They're pretty well. They may have known before training camp opened who was going to play in the first preseason game.
Right.
Yeah,
All right. Any injury updates or no?
No.
They have tomorrow off, and then early in the morning at 8 o'clock we will talk to the head coach on Thursday.
Bulldog will not know until 2 weeks from now.
Right, I'm going to be in the dark.
2 weeks from yesterday.
All right,
thanks,
we will
Paul.
send him smoke signals wherever he is.
Figure he can find out.
Much
There are
appreciated.
ways.
All right, Paul. Good job. Thank you.
Yep, take care.
Paul Hamilton there. Training camp coverage on WGR featuring Paul Hamilton in place of Sal, because Sal is away, is presented by Fiegel Car and Joyce, your border attorneys. Brought to you by Outlet Liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? And by the Barnes Firm. Car crash, you've got to call the Barnes Firm, 1-800-8-million.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Marcel Louis-Jacques, Dolphins, coming up in about 15 minutes, maybe a touch more. Thanks for listening. This is WGR. One 71. He was like 61. He was 61, I believe, when he got hired, but he had lied about his age.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then Leo Roth busted him.
Yeah, that came out
in
later.
a nice way.
Yeah.
Because Leo doesn't do anything in a way other than a nice way.
Right.
So Marv sort of cheated on his application.
Yeah.
For the Bills job.
Yeah. When Leo brought it to him, Marv just he didn't try to. He just copped to it. Yeah. When I got hired, I shaved a couple years off of there because I didn't want to be hired as a 60-year-old. I thought it would be, make it.
He went for 58.
Right.
He took 3 years off of it, right?
Right.
I was on the desk in Rochester editing those articles, like Leo and those guys. So he was 50. He was 61, but he said he was 58 when he got the Bills job. Now he's 101. Anyway, where were we?
Urgency. Having been through the Super Bowls, that is mostly what the residue of that is. What that leaves is, boy, you're really good again. You're one of the best teams in the league. Close the deal here. Let's get one done. And I don't think about that in that way. I try not to think about that way all the time, because I think that is where you can get to, I can't wait to beat the Chiefs in November and feel nothing. All that matters is what happens in February, not even January anymore. The Bills haven't even made it past January, but February is what matters. And I try not to, it's hard, but I try not to live in that space, because I don't think that's, the speech. 2007 taught me a lesson. I want to try to smell the flowers and appreciate, every day, and, enjoy every sandwich, whatever here.
What is this, The Sound of Music?
I don't know.
You, Rodgers and Hammerstein?
I'm giving you
Enjoy every sandwich.
I'm giving you Warren Zevon on Letterman. The final.
Okay, that's better.
You love that.
I
you
do.
enjoy every sandwich. He was dying when he was on the show the last time, and he said, "My advice is to enjoy every sandwich."
That's very good.
So I thought you'd like that, but you missed it.
I missed it. I went for musicals.
You went for
which is embarrassing.
Suddenly, I'm in the country
Climb
wearing
every
a
mountain.
dress singing.
It's 5 letters and 8 letters. You can't blame me too hard.
Yeah. So that's I think what it leaves, and that's I think to varying degrees. I don't always do a great job of not dwelling on that, like anyone. Maybe I do it better than some people, but not always. I try not to be a gatekeeper about getting obsessed with the playoffs because I have my moments.
Well, the thing is, like, if we were in some, if you will, neutral market, thinking about like the last 7 or 8 years of NFL football and results and, legacy stuff, Mahomes, Kansas City, we might spend a day or two on what the Bills and Ravens have accomplished, quote, accomplished in this league. Aaron Schatz has top 5-year average DVOA going back the entire Super Bowl era. The 90s Bills are not on it. This is no Super Bowl wins in the last, now it's actually 60 years, right? So you don't see, the Bulldog, the Chargers with Fouts and Coryell are at the bottom of this list. The Bills don't come in above that. Now that's one metric, but it's well-respected DVOA. So, you have this list. You have the Breeze. No, it's not Breeze. I know that my partner will join me in congratulating Ross Tucker on the news today. He is being pulled up to the number 2 team on CBS.
Way to go, Ross.
With Ian Eagle. How's that Ian? With Ian Eagle, and that probably means J.J. Watt will hang with Jim Nantz for a while Tony Romo stands over in the corner.
Yep.
So week 1, Bills at Texans, it's at worst the number 2 game. I still think Nantz is the play for CBS week 1, with Fox's big one being at 4:25. CBS also has Green Bay at Minnesota somehow in the 4:25 slot. But I like Nantz and Watt in Houston. They're both from Houston, or Watt played there. Nantz is from there.
Yep.
And then Ian Eagle and Ross in Minnesota, or in Green Bay. Minnesota, I think, is where the game is.
All right.
That's my guess.
That's great news for Ross. I
Very
did
cool.
not know that when I got here, and you told me, and I'm very happy for him.
Will he still talk to us?
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
I think that's all official. I think.
Good of us to make that official before this.
Yeah, right. Maybe this changes that.
I hope not.
Me too.
Marcel Louis-Jacques, ESPN, after the update here on WGR. Rivers Chargers, you have the early Marino, Woodley to Marino Dolphins, some Alex Smith Chiefs. They all come in above the Kelly Bills. However, the only team on this list behind, or the highest team behind the 07-11 Patriots, that's the undefeated season, that's 2 Super Bowl years where they lose to the Giants, is the Allen Bills. And then once you get past an early Raiders team, John Madden, LaMonica to Stabler, then it's the Lamar Jackson Ravens. And we've known this. We've talked about this. If we were in, where do you want us to be? Minnesota or someplace, talking about sort of what the last X number of years in the NFL have represented, we might say, look, you have 2 of the 5 greatest teams of the Super Bowl era are the Bills and the Ravens since COVID, and neither has touched the championship round,
right?
Which is incredible. So, when you talk about the 90s Bills, well, you're making a different point, and it's not wrong, of course. It's urgency, and it's what it would mean to win. But what this chart says, and I've thought this a long time, is like this is only up until 24, but still, these last 5-6 years of the Bills are probably the best 5 or 6 years in team history.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not even close, but they have not made it.
Right.
And the 90s Bills had it, I mean, dare I say it, pretty easy in the conference, in the division, getting through and then getting to play at home with the advantage of getting the Colts and Jets and Patriots, who were all terrible in those years, like 6-0, nice little start. And then, home field, and it would snow, and, there you go.
Just the fact that it was a different team in each of the 4 championship games that they played and won tells you, like, there wasn't a Kansas City standing there in the way. It was, it was the Raiders, and, I mean, the Bills absolutely annihilated them. They squeezed by the Broncos, beat the Chiefs, and then beat the Dolphins. There's no repeat in there. The Bills were the constant, and maybe Miami was, just to win the division was the biggest thing you needed to do, because maybe Miami was the second most dangerous team in that era.
I think 90, that's probably right. And, maybe again, 92, I mean, you have to go there and win.
Right.
So that would seem fair to say. Well, okay.
Aren't they also, do you know this? This came up one day, and I can't seem to word a search correctly to get a result. But I thought I had seen something recently that the Bills, having now won a playoff game in each of the last 6 years, without even having been to the Super Bowl, let alone, I don't think you have to have won it. I think to even get there, it's never happened. That a team has won. I think that's right, but I haven't been able to verify it. I saw it somewhere. I thought that could be right. That makes sense, but I haven't been able to sort of background check it.
I will look, and I know right where to look. My guess is that is probably right. There's also the stat where the Rams from 73 to 79 or somewhere in there, what is that? 7 years? What are the Bills? With at least one playoff win.
6 years. 20. They've won a game since 20 in the playoffs.
Okay. The Rams changed coaches from Knox to Malavasi.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid.
No real change on the injury front for the Buffalo Bills. They did hit the practice field earlier this morning. Again, not seen at practice. Ty Johnson, Skylar Bell, Connor McGovern, Maxwell Harrison, Cole Bishop, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And we won't get another update for the Bills until Thursday, as they are off tomorrow. Before practice, though, on Thursday, we are expected to hear from head coach Joe Brady. But today, we did get a little bit of an update, as we heard from defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, and he gave a bit of a hint to the media on what the plan could be for preseason game number 1, at least for the defense.
I think the plan is for guys to play and get a taste of the scheme. As far as I'm concerned, guys are going to go play. To be determined a little bit on how much, but it's going to be exciting for guys to get out there and just kind of let it rip.
Bills do play host to the Panthers on Saturday at 1. Before preseason games, though, do get underway, the Vikings already have their starting quarterback. They are going with former Cardinals QB Kyler Murray, and with this, the Vikings now have had 4 different Week 1 starters over the past 4 years. Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins was carted off the field earlier today. It appeared to be a lower leg injury, though no word yet on the severity of that, and also no word yet on the injury is for wide receiver Puka Nacua. He left practice earlier today, and according to head coach Sean McVay, they are unsure of exactly what the injury was. Bison on the road tonight, taking on Worcester. First pitch at 6:45. Yankees home against Seattle at 7:05, 7:07. The Jays host the Red Sox, and at 7:15, the Mets. They are down in Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
There's one chip and only one chip for the guacamole. That's that Cantina Gold, thick in the yellow bag.
It's Mike Schopp.
No thin crisp, no scoops. Get out of here with hint of lime. Horrendous choice.
And the Bulldog.
The lime is just too much lime. There's lime in the guacamole. Any more lime is too much lime. You're crossing the line. You've crossed the line. If you're using hint of lime in the guacamole with the lime, you've crossed the line.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
I guess I had to say it 5 times for me to think that anybody caught it. I don't know. That's kind of embarrassing.
I love my part of that.
Not talking at all?
Yeah, not existing on the show open. That's
They
good.
changed the bag,
like
by
that.
the
It's
way.
good. It's nice. Oh, they did.
I bought those chips.
Gonna
A lot
trick
of
you.
Tostitos. I mean, if you go to a top grocery store, you might not even see those. You're going to have the organics and I'm not trying white corn. I'm not trying to
those blue
besmirch. But you go to a grocery store more like we do. There's that. They've rebranded though, like the salsa too. Like there's that. It's a new bag.
Oh yeah.
Papa's got a brand new bag. Tostitos have a brand new bag for the Cantina
Does
Gold.
it no longer have the person that looks like they're celebrating with the eye? Isn't the eye dotted? It looks like a person like going yay.
I don't know from that. I've never looked at the eye.
You never looked at how the FedEx thing is. There's hidden things in the logo. One of them has always been the Tostitos. Is like there's a person there.
Oh yeah.
Going, yay!
I really did not know that.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's gone now.
You got me there. I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
We've wasted enough of our guest time. Marcel Louis-Jacques from ESPN.
He loves this stuff.
On the West. Does he?
I have no idea.
Has this been annoying, Marcel? Are you still there?
I forgot that I was a guest. I thought I was just listening to the radio. If I'm being blunt.
That's high praise.
When you said Marcel, I was like, oh, that's me. Okay.
They're taking my call.
Time.
That's right.
About to turn on a TV show and get back into Breaking Bad.
All right.
Well, let's dig into it. So, I mean, you've been around NFL teams for many years. What's this one like with all the changes around Miami? It's clean house, new everything. What's that been like for you?
It's kind of funny, it's been essentially the same core in Miami for the past, let's say since I got here in 2021. And so it just feels brand new. I was talking to somebody with the team after Mike was fired, and they said, it's almost kind of exciting because of the unknown aspect of it. Like there's always the road untraveled is always fascinating. So this is kind of where we are right now from a talent perspective and like a on-field performance. It feels like a new world out here because, with Tyreek and Tua and Waddle, you are going to see like a 50-yard completion every day, at least one. Guaranteed. Now, not really. This seems more like an offense willing to just take what it gets, to play ball control, to just maul its way downfield. It's really not the same kind of aerial assault that we've been used to. But I will say this, too, about the players on the team. It is a collection of just good dudes, man. Like, there's good guys on this team. There's nobody that comes to the podium and you're just kind of like, all right, here we go. Like, are they moody today? Like, are they going to big time us? Are they like, there's nobody like, okay, we've been asking for 3 weeks to get them to the podium. Like, it's none of that. So I think I talk about this a lot just with people around the organization. Like, the ego has been stripped from the Miami Dolphins. This is a sans ego a post-ego team right now. It's a lot of guys on one-year deals just trying to make a team. We haven't even seen fights at training camp, man. Like, they haven't had a single fight. Maybe a dust-up or two yesterday, which is their 10th practice, I believe. But no actual fights, because the rule is you throw a punch, you're kicked out of practice, and nobody can afford to get kicked out of practice. They're trying to make the team. So it's just a really different experience. I don't know that it's going to translate to wins in 2026. As a matter of fact, I would probably bet the under on wins in 2026. But I stand firm that it is more a product of the schedule that they're going to face rather than the accumulation of talent on the actual roster. They're going to compete. It's just, I don't know. I don't know, man. You're playing Super Bowl contenders week in and week out. It's going to be a little tough.
Yeah. Marcel, do you have a feel for where ownership is on all this? Like, obviously, Stephen Ross cleaned house. Does that mean he's ready to, like, donate a year to the landfill here and give these people that he just brought in some time to sort of, get their gospel across to everyone? Or because he has a reputation for being, I guess, a little impatient, I think. I mean, a lot of owners do.
This is a patience play. Because, again, he's been known for taking, let's say, half measures over the past, and let's call it 10 years, because it has been 10 years. It went from, a few years of Adam Gase, and then 3 years of Brian Flores, and then 4 years of Mike McDaniel. But the common denominator was always general manager Chris Greer. He didn't completely clean house. They didn't completely reset the roster, except for the 2019. That was it. But beyond that, it's just been kind of Band-Aid after Band-Aid and quick fix after get-rich-quick scheme. And that doesn't work, man. It just simply doesn't work. So this was a full reset. All the way up to the front office. Like, not only Chris Greer, obviously fired midway through last season, but Tom Garfinkel, the team president and, president of football ops, he stepped down last week. And they've got Daniel Silman, who is Steve Ross's son-in-law, but, he does have a history being around sports. He was heavily involved. Matter of fact, he orchestrated, he spearheaded the head coach and GM search. So these are his guys. Haffley and Sullivan are his guys. Like, they are all in on this new branch, this new path. And I think everybody in the organization kind of expects to eat their vegetables in 2026. And they're hoping that with a lot of salary cap space and a developed rookie class, that things will kind of get back on track there in 2027.
I happen to be married to a woman who would take exception to eat your vegetables. I hear that a lot, and she is only someone who eats vegetables. She's like, if you grill everything, bait some olive oil, right? That's not so bad.
Balsamic on there.
Balsamic.
Yeah.
You could do that. You could do worse.
Hey, man, if you fire up a grill and you're only putting vegetables on it, don't invite me over.
Okay, well, let me write that.
Don't do that.
I'll cross off my plans for that invitation after your comment.
I want a steak, man. That's what a grill is made for. I want a steak. I want some, some kebabs even.
Me too.
I'll meet you halfway. That's a good mix of veggies and protein, yeah?
I'm all the way in on that as well. Marcel Louis-Jacques from ESPN. So much to ask you with the Dolphins. What are the vibes on the new coach? Like, for me, coaches are always middle managers, and if it doesn't work out overall, you see coaches fired all the time, and history might be quite different if certain coaches, better or worse, fell into different environments. Halfley in Miami, hires are often like, we're looking for basically the opposite of the last guy. And did the Dolphins sort of accomplish that with him? What are you sort of getting from him so far?
I think that's probably why I expected him to be kind of let's say militaristic. I expected him to be like a really kind of a hard ass there, but like, he's not. I'm not going to say he's a player's coach per se, but like, he is a guy, he's very personable. He's very approachable, but like, he is unrelenting in his standard. And that's kind of like that's the message he's been putting across. It's like, guys, the standard is the standard. You're either going to hit it or you don't. Like, I'm not going to give you, there's no wiggle room. There's no this or that. Like, I'm not going to toy around with you. You know what I expect, and I expect you to do it. I don't want to go so far as to say, like, this is going to work. I guarantee it's going to work because I have not seen him coach any games yet. I have not seen them in a truly competitive environment yet. But I feel it feels like a different atmosphere so far. But some of that could just be, to borrow a soccer term, like the new manager bounce. Like I said earlier in the program, like it's the excitement and the unknown and the new, but like it's going to wear off eventually, and then we got to see where we're at where they're at post honeymoon phase. But I think that so far he has really aced this part of it. The speaking to the media, the firing up his players, the setting the tone at practice. Like it's this part is good so far. But again, that's only going to take you so far, man. And nobody cares how cool you are, how nice you are, how funny you are, if your team's winning 3 and 4 games every season. So the true test is coming in about a month. Really, the true test is coming in about, let's call it 16 hours or so, when they've got a joint practice against a Commanders team that's in year 3 under Dan Quinn, that's got a good quarterback, that, has some excitement to it. Like that's going to be a real benchmark for Jeff Athley and his team.
Is that in Miami tomorrow?
It is not. It is in the DMV. I don't know where do they practice in Virginia, right? Like it's
somewhere.
Practice in Virginia. They play in Maryland.
They're
named after
somewhere.
Washington.
Yeah. But avoid the heat if you can do it. Right. I don't want to be wrong, but I also don't want to look it up because that would be cheating. You're a Chelsea guy?
That's it.
All right, good. Did you get to any World Cup, Marcel?
Yeah, actually, my wife and I went to Argentina, Jordan, in Dallas, and that was cool. Got to see Messi score off a free kick. It was, keep that video forever. And then we saw what I personally think, in my unbiased opinion, we saw the best game, most entertaining game of the entire tournament, which was England-France.
England-France, okay.
England-France, 6-4. Man,
the third place game. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it was like tailor-made for the American audience. There was nonstop scoring there. I thought that was fun.
In Miami.
Back in a vacuum, I think that was the most entertaining game of the tournament. Overall, it was probably Cabo Verde, Argentina.
Okay.
But, context adjusted, I think that was more exciting.
I thought you might go England-Norway there in Miami when it, still mattered. The quarters, I guess that went to extra time, and Bellingham. But lot of good choices in that tournament.
It was a fun tournament, man. Like, this was such a special thing. I'm just grateful that we were able to get out there for a couple of these. I'm loaded up on World Cup gear. I got a World Cup T-shirt on right now that I paid a shameful amount of money for, but I'm telling myself my kid's going to wear it one day and he's going to say, wow, this is this cool vintage shirt. And we're just going to have to live with that for the next,
right. Chelsea new manager.
At least, since he's not born yet.
Right.
Chelsea new manager, Bulldog. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, 6 others, I think. I think there are 9. Not yours, not Bulldogs United.
Michael Carrick, we're the picture of stability now.
Everton.
Look out for them.
So am I.
Back to the Dolphins here, Marcel. Have you had a chance to spend any time either like in the room with all the reporters at a podium or just one-on-one with Bobby Slowick? Like he was such a hot commodity there for a minute, Stroud's rookie year, and then it just kind of unraveled. I'm just wondering like where he's at. Like, 'cause he seemed like a guy that was shooting up the charts, going to be a head coach any minute, and maybe it's been a little bit humbling here.
Yeah, I think, and what I think is going to be different a little bit here in Miami is like there's more of a run game to fall back on. They didn't quite have that in Houston. I think for either of CJ Stroud's first 2 years or 2 years under Bobby, but here they're going to force feed. They're going to force feed Devon Achane. I'm going to give him as much work as he can handle. But he does. He sounds humbled by the experience. He did have that year last year as, I believe, the passing game coordinator, passing game specialist. Dolphins' passing game wasn't great, but I do not think that is I don't think that's a reflection on Bobby Slowick. I think that is a reflection on just the complete lack of faith in Tua and Tua's lack of faith in his coaches. Everything just kind of fell apart. for Miami's offense last season. But there's not a lot to work with in terms of receivers. There's a big unknown at quarterback in Malik Willis, but I think that I think we're going to see something exciting out of the rookies. Like if I'm Bobby Slavic, that's where I'm steering my attention to. Caleb Douglas was named listed as a starter on the first unofficial depth chart today. Chris Bell has not returned to practice yet. I think they're praying he's back sometime this preseason, but I will say he's working out before practice with no knee sleeve, no knee brace, and the size and speed combination there, I think has an opportunity to be special. So like, this is going to be just one of those seasons where Bobby, similar to, damn near everybody else on this team, is not necessarily going to be judged and graded on results, but by the process itself. So I think that's what you got to look at for Bobby. Is this offense continuing to get better? Is he developing players? Is he developing these rookies? It's not going to be so much like, oh man, is this the new CJ Stroud? Are they the new Texans? Are they lighting the world on fire? Because they're probably not going to. But there's just kind of a different rubric down here for this season.
Yeah. You mentioned Willis, and he's not a complete unknown. He's played a little in Green Bay, so not a complete stranger. But what's that look like? Like, do you see like moments where like, man, there's a lot of talent in there. There's a lot of athleticism in there. Can he put it all together? Just where are you at on him?
Yeah, he had this throw yesterday or maybe the day before. It had to be yesterday because they're off Sunday, where he rolls out of the pocket, and I believe Jacob Rodriguez is in his face. Somebody's in his face, and he sprints to his right, elevates, and fires just a laser over the middle to Caleb Douglas, and Douglas, corrals it for the first down. And it's just little plays like that just display the athleticism and the arm talent. Like, I think arm talent is kind of like a widely used phrase, but like, I see it as the ability to make all kinds of throws off platform, and he checks the hell out of that box, man. And the crazy thing is here, like, so nothing he's done has really, like, there hasn't been a day where I would say he just lit the defense up, where it was just touchdown after touchdown after bomb, but it has been consistent and steady up and to the right improvement for him over the course of the summer and even dating back to the spring. But we do have to remember, he's not running. Like, they want him making plays in the pocket this summer because it doesn't really do much good to a defense or an offense for the quarterback to just take off and run at the first sign of struggle. So, like, that is an element that we haven't seen that you're going to have to account for come the regular season. And, he's plenty fast still. Like, that, I didn't know just how strong his arm was before really getting to see him up close. Like, I just didn't have a full appreciation of it, and it's strong as hell. But the speed is exactly what I expected out of him, and he is a little bigger too. Like, I think he can handle I think he'll be pretty durable and be able to absorb contact. But they got a plan for him. I saw him run a little read option at one point. I'm not going to say what area of the field, but it's possible, and it's something that I think defensive coordinators are not learning for the first time on this here radio program. But it'll be exciting. It's an element we have not seen in the Dolphins offense over the past.
We don't want to get you in trouble. You
Ever?
don't want to say what happened exactly, but yes.
Right. I love how excited you got when you were able to pinpoint what day at practice that was that he made that throw. Because I do that too. Like, a lot of the days blend together. You're covering practice. You're talking. You're like, what day was that? Like, oh, no, it had to be this day. Like, there was a little jolt of excitement there, Marcel. I respect it.
Man. Yeah. It's the little things, bro.
It was Monday.
Yeah. You got to find it.
My brain works. It was Monday.
I mean, I love the point about why have we had this with different Bills quarterbacks in the last 20 years, but not in a while since Allen. Like, why have him run in camp? What's the point? It's just it's a broken play. People would. I'm sorry how old I sound for this, but like J.P. Lossman. Oh, you got to see the guy run. Like, I don't want to see the guy run. I want to see him, and so do the Bills.
Got his leg broke.
That happened too.
Running in practice because guys got sick of it.
They want right. I mean, maybe they had a point.
Yeah.
From a team standpoint, you don't want to see your quarterback gym class heroing on scrambles in camp because that's not a good
Right.
result.
You're making us look bad. We can't hit you, so someone hit him and he broke his leg.
There's no point in running, but I'm excited to see Willis. Marcel.
All it takes is one, one frustrated play, one like the perfect combination, perfect storm of frustration and exhaustion, and you get a cheap shot on the quarterback, and all of a sudden your season's different.
Yeah.
So
and then
it's not worth it. He can run.
Then the team has to make up a story like the Bills did in 2004 for like what actually happened on that play. Hey, Marcel, so I'm in lots of fantasy leagues. HN is we know how good he is. I mean, the eye test, the stats, they all speak to it. He goes end of the first round. James Cook, Genty, I guess Hampton, although sounds like a committee right now. Chase Brown, even Barkley. And HN for me has been a do not draft guy because I just worry that Miami's season, as good as he is, will get to a point where, I don't know, they're like 2-9 or something like that. And then they've already paid him. Like they just sort of, you know what, take it easy for a while. I don't want to have to worry about that in my leagues later on in the season. Would you push back against that? I know today there's some report about like the heavy workload for HN, who's not a big guy, but he's, super good. What kind of bet would you make on him numbers-wise, maybe, is the question?
I mean, so he went 1350 and 8 touchdowns, I want to say, last year. But the catches are consistent. And I think that is, especially if you're in a PPR, like that's usually what is going to tip the scale. If I'm choosing like between him and Ashton Genty, like I don't want any part of that Raiders run game right now. No way. Give me the guy who has proven to produce on a good team and proven to produce on a bad team with a clearly defined role and a coach who's willing to publicly say we're going to give him 40 to 45 touches sometimes. And in terms of his durability, like he's not a big guy, but he's only missed one game over the past 2 years. And I want to say it was the end of last season when, there was no point in playing anymore. So it's like, all right, you banged up a little bit. Let's go ahead and let you rest. And lo and behold, like he did have off-season shoulder surgery. So it proved to be necessary. But he is good. Mike McDaniel told me once that what he stood out to about Devontae Achane when he was in college was his ability to contort his body essentially to avoid the worst of contact. Even when he runs inside, like he's usually really good at just absorbing contact in exactly the right place where you need to, letting his pads do the talking there and not getting himself twisted and turned and beat down. And I think that, Achane's kind of proven that. It was tough, a tough first year. I'll give him that. Like the knee injury that held him out for like a month, that's a tough start. But if he's healthy, man, and this offense is going to need him to produce, so like that's a no-brainer end of the first round to me. That turnaround pick, if he's still there, bang, bang.
All right.
There's a lot of receivers you can get. It's not a lot of running backs.
Good point. He had more rushing yards alone last year than Genty had total. Genty had maybe an underappreciated season because the Raiders were so bad, 13-21 total from scrimmage, but Genty came in well above that. And he has 8 touchdowns already in 3 years against Buffalo. So we've seen our share of like a quarter of his touchdowns career against the Bills. Memorable plays. All right, Marcel. Well, it's always a treat to talk. Call us anytime if you want to talk soccer or get bored or something, because we love to chat. So thanks for visiting with us today.
Absolutely, man. Honestly, I can't wait to. I've seen the discourse. Obviously, I can't wait to get up to Buffalo and really see the inside of the stadium for myself because it does feel like. I can't tell, man. It just the negative voices seem to always be the loudest.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's not as bad as people are really making it out to be.
We do our best, if I may say. Like yesterday was one where, and I don't think this is to be scoffed at. A number of fans were disgruntled about having seats where their views were obstructed or just little glitches maybe in the whole thing. First night of the place ever. And I think that somewhat is to be expected, but we tried to say over and over, like, overwhelmingly positive reviews. What a thing to have in Buffalo, this new facility. So when is Miami here? Late or in the middle?
I think it's November.
Okay. Then the Bills go to Miami like second to last game of the season. That's what that is, January 3rd. Very good.
Yeah, ever since Sungate, I feel like that's kind of how the schedule's been played out, man. That was pretty funny.
We're not going to Miami in September, and the Commanders are definitely not going down there in August. So that'll be in Washington this week, the joint practice. Thanks again for your time.
Yep, anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Marcel Louis-Jacques, ESPN. Yes, it is week 11. The Dolphins are here, November 22nd. Jets and Dolphins, Dolphins and Jets. Probably, certainly by the point spread, the 4 softest games on the Bills' schedule, and they are back-to-backers both times, 10 and 11, and then 17 and 18.
Better win them all.
I've got more to say about that with you after the update. 803-0550 for your calls.
What a tease.
Oh, walked right into it. Thank you, setting me up. Yep. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
No real changes on the injury front for the Buffalo Bills. Not seen at practice today. Ty Johnson, Skylar Bell, Connor McGovern, Maxwell Hairston, Cole Bishop, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Bills are off tomorrow, so the earliest we'll hear from head coach Joe Brady is going to be on Thursday. But before practice, we did hear from defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, who gave us a bit of a hint on what the plan could be for preseason game number 1, at least on defense.
I think the plan is for guys to play and get a taste of this game. As far as I'm concerned, guys are going to go play. To be determined a little bit on how much, but it's going to be exciting for guys to get out there and just kind of let it rip.
Bills are going to play host to the Panthers on Saturday at 1. Before preseason games, though, do get underway, the Vikings have already named their starting quarterback. They are going with former Cardinals QB Kyler Murray, and with that, the Vikings now have had 4 different Week 1 starters over the past 4 years. And then Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins, he was carted off the field earlier today with what appeared to be a lower leg injury, though no word yet on the severity of that one. Bison's on the road tonight, taking on Worcester. First pitch at 6:45. Yankees home against Seattle at 7:05. Shortly after that at 7:07, the Jays host the Red Sox. And at 7:15, the Mets. They are down in Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
You're going to get guys in places to make plays, right? That's my job. But who can finish, get guys on the ground, was an Achilles heel here last year, right? So that's the number one thing we have to correct. The number one way to do it is getting population to the football. In all reality, the biggest piece, because scheme is scheme, but if you can't get people on the ground, you're going to have to make adjustments and figure out how you can help them do that.
Jim Leonhard. Did he have a signature play as a Bill? Ooh. That Jet game we talked about the other day that went to overtime, was there a Jim Leonhard play? He was good. He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. I mean, he was the sliding scale. He was an undrafted free agent, so plucky underdog guy.
Right. Couldn't do wrong.
So he played. He made a career for himself.
10 years.
I feel like, right. I feel that, that's not just a cup of coffee. Like, that might be, I don't know what the longest career any undrafted, Jason Peters probably has the longest career of any undrafted free agent in league history, because he was an undrafted free agent as a tight end with the Bills and has become one of the best tackles that's ever lived.
That's a good start. He is retired?
I believe so.
That's a good start.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody from the past also did that.
Right.
But it's a good start.
But still, 10 years is super solid for a guy coming from there. I feel like there's somewhere there's a pick that sealed a game type play from him, but I don't have it at recall here.
Okay. Neither do I. Sorry. Bills.
Maybe he does.
Ravens, Jets. Yeah, maybe he does, actually. What was your career highlight? Denver, Bills again, Browns. Playoffs with the Ravens, playoffs with the Jets. Who does that? And then also Denver, that incredible Flacco-led Baltimore comeback.
Right.
He was on the Broncos for that game. But we won't hold that against him. I won't.
Oh boy, I hope he's not. The winning touchdown. No, maybe it was a tying touchdown at the end of regulation.
Yes.
The long, didn't a defender tip it even to the Baltimore? That's how I remember it.
Jacoby Jones.
Okay, I hope Leonhard isn't at the scene of the crime in that.
Me too. Let's stop talking.
I don't remember it now.
Suddenly we're talking about what could be a traumatic
right.
loss. Didn't mean to do that.
Let's not do that.
Are you excited about Kyler Murray being named the starter in Minnesota?
Yes, I am.
Your guy.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about Kyler Murray being named the starter in Minnesota.
That was an interesting ride.
I'm eager to see how that all turns out. I read Matthew Collar, our old friend, coworker, does excellent work, Purple Insider in Minnesota. It was a very lengthy. I read the whole thing. like I need credit. Like I read War and Peace.
I read the whole
I read
thing.
a football article that had a lot of words and punctuation in it. I am the hero you didn't know you needed, everyone.
I read the whole.
I read the whole thing. I read the whole thing. It was a long piece.
Does somebody give you a free book? Like when you go to one of those places where they have this one menu item, and if you eat the whole thing, you get you get a credit.
The old 96er.
What's that?
That's the Great Outdoors. That's the big steak that John Candy's character tries to eat or does eat successfully in some
like a 96-ounce steak.
Yes.
And he does eat it.
I think so. Yeah.
And he gets
they got like T-shirts. Yeah.
Have you ever go on Kyler Murray? But I'd like to ask a follow-up.
I was at a place in Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
That is quite famous. That had some version of it was 78 ounce something. I did not try. I was getting on an airplane a few hours afterward. They're like, now's not the time to try to put away 80 ounces of beef. Getting on an airplane.
Has there ever been a good time to do that?
That's a good.
80 ounces of
also
beef.
a good point. Anyway,
do
Murray,
I have a team?
Matthew wrote a long piece. There's a lot of here's everything you've gotten wrong about Kyler Murray, and all this narrative is wrong, and that narrative is wrong, and this narrative is wrong, and like a lot of that spoke to me because like I'm buying a lot of those narratives. I have bought a lot of those narratives, and so I'm really curious to see if there is a different chapter 2 for his career. I'm not so like egotistical that I need him to fail again to validate my criticism from years past. I'm just sort of curious what is going to happen. So because he is still, and Matthew said he's just a different dude for being a team's quarterback. Like he's not someone who's outwardly like the sort of alpha leader type guy. And so can that work in and of itself, I think is an interesting thing to consider. And then, just him, he's always had a ton of talent. So, yeah, I'm curious.
It was like 24 hours ago when it was nobody's any good here in Minnesota. And then today they named him the starter. If you can believe the reports there, that's really bad for McCarthy. Like yesterday, nobody could complete a pass, and it has felt like they've been dying to name Murray the number one, but they just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then today they just did it. Like, why wait? Really bad for McCarthy. My guys at Say Cheese on the island, I can't find it on their online menu, but they have it's everything they have on top of each other. And you win something if you can eat it in a certain amount of time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Pizza, chicken fingers, taco, pulled pork or roast beef sandwich, and then something else. All just like in one. I've never seen it.
Okay.
Let alone attempted it. I just cannot.
Yeah.
And I was someplace recently where I saw a facsimile of the same thing. If you eat this in 40 minutes, they put the clock on you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you eat this in this amount of time, then you win something. And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like I need to win whatever the thing is that badly.
Right.
Andrew's out here today in Pittsburgh.
Trying to eat 40 wings?
In 4 hours. Like, that's not Herculean.
No. I would feel it for sure. But even at my age, I don't think that's something that would, I don't want to do it. This is not me saying dare me to do it. I'll do it even for like. I think it would really upset it's a lot. But could I? I think I could easily do it. I used to eat 30 without any real problem.
Without 4 hours.
Yeah, no, right. With like in an hour, and sure, I'll 30. Oh my God!
It's a little bit too close to that Waffle House fantasy football idea.
Yeah,
40 wings.
I don't think it's that big in 4 hours. Like that's.
I know.
You should be able to swing that.
The most I would ever want to eat at once is like 15. There's no way I want a 16th chicken wing. 15 is a lot.
No matter how good they are.
No, just put them back in the fridge. Put them in a box.
I go to the everybody's favorite place or my favorite place, like whatever, and we get the big plate, and they're great, and I'm like on wing 8, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm cooked.
Right.
I often will get wings when I go out on a Saturday afternoon to More Room, and I often bring 5 home. I have 5, and I'll bring 5 home and leave them for my wife to have later. Or something.
5's fine. If you get under 5, then you feel the pressure to finish them. If you have 4 left.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, right.
Unless you're at the stadium, which the $19 order is 4.
Yeah.
Then that's the whole order.
Yeah, I will always stop at 5 because that's right. That's you're 3/4 of the way through the bag of chips. Oh, well, might as well just kill it. But if you can stop it halfway and go like, okay, this is nice. I'll have these another night watching the Sabres game on Friday.
5.
I'm going to put them away. That's 5 wings.
Good snack.
6th wing means 10. Almost always. If I cross to the 6th one, then I'm eating all 10 of them.
Yep.
And I'm probably not.
Making a lot of sense.
I don't need to do it. I don't want to say I'm not enjoying it. It's still delicious, but it's not, it's not necessary.
Is Kyler Murray... So we had Scott Barrett on Friday and asked him about Josh Allen and drafting quarterbacks in fantasy. And he's like, if you just drafted Kyler Murray and Malik Willis, we just talked to Marcel about the Dolphins. If you just drafted those 2 guys, I think you're fine. And I told him how I was in a draft recently where I did that, and somebody mocked me for it, like in the draft. Like, all right, well, that wasn't really necessary. Let me look at your team. But okay, that's what is Kyler Murray, quarterback 16 or something like that? That's what I'm going with. Like, could you do that? Could you, in good conscience, when you sit down, speaking of wings, when you go out with Paul for his draft, I won't be there this year, sadly. I'll miss it. And I meant that. Will you, it's a super flex league anyway. Like how, Kyler, I wrote down actually, when I woke up this morning, my last bug in my ear was, it's actually up in the air whether he starts over J.J. McCarthy. So when I thought that was the case, I wrote down Kyler Murray or Geno for in real football. Like, who would you be better off with now? Like, well, in fantasy anyway, Murray, we know, Geno too. We know they're both going to start week 1. Is there a comparison there? Is there one guy that you think is like could be sneaky good of the 2?
I would probably lean Murray. I'm afraid Geno is just got, like, he's like late stage Drew Bledsoe, where like you'd watch Bledsoe and he would start to crumple in the pocket before the contact got there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If that might be some exaggeration.
What about Cousins?
But yeah,
last year.
Just, like, I've been hit so much. I'm old. I'm a little worried that Geno, especially with the Jets, I don't know. Shore up your line all you want. I just think he's. I wouldn't trust him. I had a moment in the spring where like, well, if he's half decent, maybe. No, I just don't think he's going. I would bet on Murray.
Okay.
There's first overall, the running, new spot, a chance to sort of, rewrite. Or write a new story and all that stuff. Like, to me, you're going to get the absolute best he's got. And if that still isn't good enough, then, he's probably just, bounce around for the rest of his career. But Geno at this point is like, he's just, he had that moment where, look, I'm good. And then it just went away again. And makes me not trust the look, I'm good year. It's like, no, that's the aberration. Your career is just very mid to below that.
Plus the Jets effect.
Right.
That's never really a positive, a net positive, a Jet positive. For more on this, perhaps tomorrow Bulldog will have Ian Hartitz on the show. I will not be here. Then Bulldog is off for a long time after tomorrow. We're going to start a new relationship with RotoWire on Fridays for fantasy football players. And Ian is now a part of that team. That's a relatively new development. Mm-hmm. So is Theo Greminger, who's been on with us a lot. Jim Coventry, Alan Seslowski, those guys will rotate and be with us. Usually it'll be 4:30 on Fridays. Maybe not until the season is about to start, but we'll have that coming up starting in September, if not earlier. Theo is actually going to be on this Friday with me.
All right, excellent.
In your absence.
Yeah, and we can't do that at our usual. Often we do interviews at 4 o'clock, but on Fridays at 4 o'clock in football season, we're going to have Fred Jackson on. So there's that.
That is safe to announce, hopefully, because it was just said. I looked at you like, are you going? Are you going to say it? Are you going to say it? He is going to say it.
The email thread that you were
Today.
a part of about this RotoWire thing reconfirmed Fred Jackson at 4:00. So
Yes.
I feel like that maybe we weren't supposed to announce.
I don't know. It's already happened now, so don't worry about it. No, there's no. The delay is only 7 seconds. There's no fix. It's not even online. Right?
I'm only pretending to care.
If that. All right. Good time for a break. We'll go wash up. 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Fox Bulldog here for Window Nation. There are some
Well, here's one update, and I think it's a good one for our friend here. Paul Skeens is pitching tonight for the Pirates in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
So let's
I've already
see.
done this. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
but now you can really do it. I mean, this is...
Yeah, no, I mentioned...
Yesterday you really did
I
it.
mentioned this to you yesterday.
Yes.
I said he's scheduled. I found the Pirates schedule. I clicked on today's game, tomorrow's game yesterday, the game that is... And he's scheduled, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday afternoon. Bingo.
There's only one problem.
What's that?
He stinks.
Yeah, well, whatever.
When did that happen?
I know, but
he kind of stinks now.
He's still Paul Skeens.
You better not be late. He'll be pulled by the third inning.
We are not going to be late. We are staying right across the Clemente Bridge from the ballpark.
When was the last time you were there?
Be late. That ballpark?
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Long time.
The kids were both playing baseball for the Cardinals. We went to see Albert Pujols and the Cardinals in Pittsburgh
15 years ago.
So yeah, quite a long
At
time
least.
ago. Yeah,
it's the best.
Yeah, I can't wait. We are
Pittsburgh is.
We
the
are
best.
in like the second row behind first base on Saturday night, and then Sunday we're 20 rows up on the third base side.
I'll look for you if the game is available in my area.
I believe it will be.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back to the Bills after this. This is WGR.
No real changes on the injury front for the Buffalo Bills. Not seen in practice include Ty Johnson, Skylar Bell, Connor McGovern, Maxwell Harrison, Cole Bishop, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But for the Bills, they are off tomorrow. So when we actually hear from head coach Joe Brady, it'll be at the earliest on Thursday morning. But we did have some pre-morning practice press conferences, and it was defensive coordinator Jim Leonard's turn to speak, and he gave us a bit of a hint on what the plan could be for preseason game number 1, at least on defense.
I think the plan is for guys to play and get a taste of the scheme. As far as I'm concerned, guys are going to go play. To be determined a little bit on how much, but it's going to be exciting for guys to get out there and just kind of let it rip.
Bills are going to play host to the Carolina Panthers on Saturday at 1. Before preseason games have actually begun, the Vikings have already named their starting quarterback. They're going to be going with former Cardinals QB Kyler Murray. And with this, the Vikings now have had 4 different Week 1 starters over the past 4 seasons. Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins carted off the field earlier today with what appeared to be a lower leg injury. No word yet, though, on the severity of that injury. And then Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua. He left practice earlier today, but according to head coach Sean McVay, they are unsure of what exactly the injury was. Bisons are on the road tonight. They're taking on Worcester. First pitch at 6:45. The Yankees, they're home against Seattle at 7:05, 7:07. The Jays host the Red Sox, and at 7:15, the Mets, they're down in Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
How many bees is a swarm? Is 2 a swarm or 3? Whatever. How many does it have to be? And
I feel like 7.
It's Mike Schopp.
How many times do you have to be stung to have been swarmed? And I was like, dude, I got swarmed. I got stung only once, but I was swarmed.
And the Bulldog.
You insist you were swarmed.
There were bees, man, like plural, big, lots of S's. Lots of E's and S. Bees. That was not
bees.
Fun. Right. That was not fun.
On WGR.
Hey, man, that kind of hurt.
Sports Radio 550.
Been through some interesting, smaller conversations the last couple of days within what yesterday's show mostly was about feedback about the stadium on Saturday night. The stat about Minnesota, 4 different Week 1 starting quarterbacks in 4 years. Indianapolis is on 8.
In 4 years?
Funny. In week one, that streak of different starters will likely end this year when Daniel Jones, apparently healthy,
starts the second year in a row.
Right. But if you go back...
Luck's last year, and then from there, it's a different guy every year? Is that
Luck, Brissett, Rivers, Wentz, Matt Ryan. Minshew Week 1. And then it was Richardson. Maybe Richardson is 2 in a row. I wanted to check this, and I ran out of time. I'm looking at the Pro Football Reference, like leading passer guy for the year. It's 6 or 7 in the last 8 years. Okay. Richardson might have gotten there twice.
Yeah.
Richardson is just like totally dead.
It seems like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Right? Wow.
I mean, yeah. But considering what's happened, it's not surprising anymore. And what the taking himself out, and then he there's been a lot of chatter about him maybe the back end of last week into the beginning of this week. I shouldn't say the beginning. I haven't seen any of it this week. I think it was the tail end of last week. That, like, there's an Ian Rappaport. They're talking on NFL. I don't even know what channel anyone's on anymore. ESPN, whatever. This is one of those, 2 people in the studio and a guy, a reporter out there, like, oh, well, let's go to Ian. Okay. And he's just talking. And somewhere, like, he often does, he says a lot of stuff sometimes. And it's not all, like, to me, perfectly ordered all the time. Like, sometimes he feels to me like he's going off the cuff a little more than maybe he would want to do. I don't know. Anyway, he said something about, like, there's some question about whether he's got full eyesight from the injury he suffered. He was using, I don't think they were branded Joe D bands, but like elastic bands.
Joe D bands.
To exercise with. Joe DeLamielleure used to come in here to do shows with us. He got on the floor in here to demonstrate these elastic bands.
I can't name
the
5 people that have been on the floor in here.
tension training.
I can name 4.
He was, to me, way ahead of the curve on this. It's very commonplace now. I had never seen anything like it when he was, and he had him in all sizes. I'm telling you guys, it's better than weights. And I can see him on the floor over here, like stretching, doing some sort of like calf thing. Like, dude, you're Hall of Famer Joe DeLamielleure. Please get off our floor. It's just freaking me out.
That's before the new carpet.
Anyway, I got all distracted now. Anthony Richardson like almost blinded himself with one, like he was doing some of that and it hit him in the eye. I mean, I don't know. On some level, this is not how you should run a business, especially a pro sports team. But on some level, like you can't be my quarterback ever. I'm done with you. You smashed yourself in the eyeball with an elastic exercise band? No, you're not leading my team. No one's going to believe in you ever. I think his career is over. I think the elastic band did him in.
Let's see if we can't talk. Do you have a number for Brandon Beane? Let's see if we can't talk him into, or Brady, this Patriots trade with the Dolphins from yesterday, where you give up a player, you take on, the other team takes on the contract. The Dolphins and Patriots made a trade. One team traded a 2028 sixth, and the other team got the player and a 2029 seventh.
2029 seventh.
Can't we do that for Anthony Richardson? Can't somebody do that just to see? I mean, if we sat down, I want to tell you about the 4 people I've seen on this floor. I mean, maybe it's more than 4.
I don't want to trade anything for him in 2040. He's going to come here and drown in a cold tub. No.
Fine. I mean, the jig is up on this guy. I mean, apparently he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to play.
That could be a thing.
Maybe he's just not up to it.
He's just not cut out for it.
Just not cut out for it.
We need to find a
he's
different line of work.
He's huge and fast and can throw the ball 80 yards in the air.
Right.
But he doesn't really want to do the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can relate to that. Not that I have that talent, but yeah.
If on some base level he wants to make his money and maybe even win somewhere as a part-time player, then what's that worth to any team? This confounds me. I guess, it's a small town, the NFL, and they might all just sort of whisper to each other, listen, don't.
Right.
But if I can get what is he? 6'6", 250 and fast?
Don't exaggerate.
What is he?
He's 6'5". I don't think he's
6'5". Well, exaggerate.
Well, you're adding inches.
I'm adding inch.
You add an inch.
6'5", 2. What do you want?
240.
Fine, better.
Yeah.
I don't want tall. 6'5", 2. What is he? He's your size.
He's Allen's size. I mean,
okay.
Allen's that size.
If I can have a guy Josh Allen's size and faster, with arm talent if I need it, as a fail-safe, for nothing, I don't want that because I want to run jet sweeps with Shakir. I mean, I don't want that. I want to run, Frank Gore Jr. What do I want? I don't want that.
I'm really sitting with this idea, honestly, and no more jokes about the cold tub.
I know. I thought it was hilarious.
But like seriously, I don't think it's without merit to consider someone like him just for the quarterback sneak play. Because you can't bring him in to use him for all the running you want to do with your quarterback because that would be a towel. Josh Allen, sure, I want to protect Josh Allen, but I'm not going to bring Anthony Richardson and run a quarterback draw because everyone's going to be waiting for a quarterback draw. The thing about the quarterback sneak is everyone knows it's coming when Josh Allen's on the field, so there's no difference. So you just sub Josh Allen out for Anthony Richardson, and you do your version of the tush push or whatever the hell we're calling it these days, and that's his job. And if he's willing to really go at that, because I don't need, as Josh Allen is, 30 and a dad and I don't need him being a human battering ram on that play for the next 6 years of his career or 10 years of his career or however long his career is going to last. So go get Anthony Richardson. Same size, similar athletic profile. Go plow behind Alec Anderson.
What I like, the most legitimate point I'd want to make about this idea, not even for the Bills, but for any other team, is that he can throw. This is not the Ravens putting Mark Andrews under center for the tush push.
Mm-hmm.
Although Derrick Henry has thrown touchdown passes in the league.
Right.
This is a guy
but you
that
could do something off
fool
of
around
it.
with.
Yeah.
And you'd have to get him, then he'd have to have a buy-in, and then you'd have to figure it out. But the Bills have been a team for a few years here that have been relatively comfortable in their personnel, and it's easy to say, but a team that could have and maybe still could experiment with ideas like this. And look, what is the downside?
The downside is what I just thought of is that he was the 5th overall pick, right? And if I'm trading for him to have that role, the contract is going to be a problem.
Okay,
if he gets released, that's another thing. But now you've got 31 other teams that can get in line and it's, whatever. So trading for him probably that's the reason you don't trade for him.
That's a good point.
Because if whatever,
the Colts probably would work with you.
Yeah.
I read today Kyler Murray is making $37 million this year. The Cardinals are paying more than $35 million of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was he traded?
That's nice work.
Or was he cut? I don't know. Whatever. If I can't do it because of the cap, then I can't, forget it. But I feel like that's not really what most of the time we're talking about.
That had to be a trade because if they're paying part of the contract, if they had cut him, they're
right. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, okay.
They're
whatever.
responsible.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Whatever it is. He just turned 24. I got a 6'4", 250. I brought it down. 6'4", 250-pound giant who can run by you.
Yeah.
He's fast, and he throws the ball over those mountains. So I don't want that. Okay, he's free. I don't care. I don't want it anyway. Even though he's free, I don't want it. I guess.
I might not. I'm just not sure that all the lights are on.
Okay.
There. I just really. I mean, I.
But what excuse if it's not the cap, which maybe it is, maybe that would be what they tell you is why. What excuse do these teams like the Jets and the Browns and even the Dolphins? I don't know. Maybe Willis is good.
Yeah.
Willis
is a certain kind of try.
Arizona. What excuse do they have to not find out?
I think it's probably what you alluded to a few minutes ago, that people like the book is out on them. That it's just like the sky's not. Don't do it. It's not for all the prodigious gifts he has athletically. It just is not going to happen. He doesn't get it. He can't put it all together. I think that's why. Now, what I'm suggesting to some extent with the Bills is like a very specific role that I think does have value. I mean, it has value in, producing first downs, which Josh Allen has been doing fine, himself. But I really think there's merit to not having him have to do that. I don't think he's ever really gotten hurt on that play specifically. Or didn't he get tipped upside down against Arizona that one time and land on his wrist, and that hurt him, and that was bothering him for a little while? Anyway.
He's run a million sneaks, they always make it, and he's never missed a game.
So, yeah, but still, as he gets older, I don't know, concussion, anything. I don't need him doing it.
Fine. I agree. It's the best play in football. The sneak.
I don't know if I would want to do it with Richardson, though. I don't know. I don't know.
Last point, because this is not an Anthony Richardson show, right? He's not even going to play anymore in the league, probably. He's never going to start another game.
Probably right.
For as easy as it's been, I'm thinking of Ross, too. On the occasion of Ross is being promoted to the CBS number 2 booth with Ian Eagle. That's super cool. We talked to him about this, and Ross was like you are talking, or even more severe about Richardson.
Yeah.
8-7 as a starter for Indianapolis in his career. It's not like they got run over because he didn't know the plays.
Right.
Or he checked out on third down, or he got a rubber band in his eye. Like, he has a winning record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Nobody's talking about him being your starting quarterback. I just think it's crazy that even the Colts, but okay, Daniel Jones went there. They were 8-2 last year. He's not the worst, I guess. Okay. I mean, I don't have to see Anthony Richardson play over Daniel Jones. I understand. Guy's got a winning record in 15 games as a starting quarterback playing for Indianapolis.
I mean, it tells you that something I've thought for years and years and years, and it's usually more in the context of guys that get in trouble off the field or whatever. But like the one thing you can't get away with in football is not understanding how football works. Like you want to get driving while intoxicated, domestic, whatever. Like we'll overlook a lot of things if you know the football. But I think it's probably way overstated at this point because he took himself out of that one game. But like it's the most fundamental thing you could possibly need to know about playing the position of quarterback at any level of football, let alone in the NFL. Is like, it's not basketball. There's not a sixth man coming in. You don't get to tap out. You're the quarterback. Get on the field. Run another play. We're waiting for you.
Just know enough to stay down.
Right.
If you're not right, then no one ever asks a question.
Right.
Well, eventually we do, but really that's not so conspicuous.
I think that is. It sounds ridiculous, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I make the point all the time. Like that's the biggest sin you can commit in pro football is not knowing the football.
If you ran a team, we acknowledge here that we don't know that much about him. We know a couple of things that have happened,
right?
And that the Colts seemed pretty done not that long ago when it came to Richard. I mean, he didn't start a game last year. Even after, well, he was on IR, I guess. But right. if you ran a team, would you be the type that would just like run for the hills away from a guy like that? Or would you be the type of like, you have a good team where you don't have that much to lose? I mean, the Bills have brought in a lot of people. And, not everybody was like a sterling reputation, although that's kind of the reputation the Bills have is they didn't, as Sean McDermott leaves, wouldn't you know there was another, hey, this is what Sean McDermott did that people didn't like story last weekend, because that happens every time after the coach is gone. Didn't say a word about it, and then he's gone. Oh, well, guess what? Whispers inside the building.
Injuries.
I mean, that's not super predictable and laughable even sometimes. If you ran a team that was pretty good, would you be, I don't want to load the question. I know how I'd be. Would you be the type of GM, assuming like you're not worried about your job security so much, you've got a great record, wouldn't you try this? Wouldn't you try, it doesn't have to be Richardson, just somebody that could make you a little bit more dangerous? Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what I'd be here for, is like any sort of other, there's a lot that hasn't been said. You've got to find a uniform in the 53 on game days. And that's, I mean, if I need somebody else to be my backup quarterback that is older and is friends with Josh Allen, because that's what always happens, then okay, if that's so critical. I don't know. I'm a little bit more carried away with this than I want to be. But it's just incredible to me that an athlete like this wouldn't even get any sort of interest.
You're sounding like if somebody dipped in here about 6 minutes ago, like, Schopp wants Richardson on the Bills. What is he doing?
Of course. I can think of 4 people that have been on this carpet.
Am I one of them? Because
Yes.
I've been down
Push-ups.
there many times. Push-ups.
Yes.
And other stretches.
Joe DeLamielleure.
Do
we have a shot of the carpet? I don't think. Are we that good?
I don't know.
Joe D, you, me.
Right, because we had that hockey net in here.
Yes.
And we would both take turns getting on our knees in the butterfly trying to defend the tiny little net.
And my son, who when he was younger,
yeah,
he would come in here with me sometimes.
Yep.
And he had a situation on the floor.
Yeah. We did need to recall that, but yeah.
That's the time I was thinking of having been on the floor. It was that day.
Yeah.
Not the goalie stuff, not the little hockey net.
Right.
But yes.
We had a time there where there was games in here. We played games.
Oh,
I have
what an era.
You know what I have? What I should do? I have a I don't know how long it is. 12 feet, 15 feet. I have one of those little putting greens.
Oh yeah.
That goes up like a little ramp to where the hole is, and I feel like I should bring that in here.
Perfect for this space.
Yes,
That's about 12 feet.
I would need to roll it up, and I wouldn't want to leave it out because it might get near the door, the end of it. And we could
putt.
Who doesn't need to practice? Listen, I played today. I hit 12 out of 18 greens. Made one birdie.
That's really good.
Made 2 birdie putts. I mean,
Were you playing at Pinehurst?
I could have shot
because those greens are tough.
Close. Bethpage. I could work on my putting, and it would give us something to do.
I'd love it.
I think I'm going to do that.
I mean, we can't get in here until 2:59 anymore.
That's right. But still the breaks. Commercial breaks.
That's right.
All right. This is
Richardson is going to start at New England this week. They're there now. It's one of those joint practices. There are a couple, if not a few today.
Yeah.
Tampa's at the Jets. The Colts are at New England. There might be others going on right now. And there are Thursday games.
Okay.
The Bills play Saturday at 1.
When I come back from all this time off I'm about to have, I will bring the putting green.
Titans at San Francisco is another one.
Okay.
They're out there.
Cam Ward.
Your buddy can't. Will he play, though? I think the Ravens announced Jackson's not going to play a snap in the preseason. Will the Bills do that?
I hope they do. I don't know that they will, but I think I've been thinking they would. I thought Brady would go farther than McDermott even did with starters playing in the preseason because he's a younger guy and he's just more like I don't need this.
You would bet even odds that Allen does not take the first snap Saturday, or no?
Yes, I would. I would.
Josh Allen.
I would bet that Josh Allen does not. I would bet right now that he doesn't take a snap in the preseason.
Maybe that's where that scrimmage, or it's not a scrimmage, right? It wasn't a scrimmage; it was practice.
Right.
Maybe that's where the practice has value to them.
Well, they're gonna do that with Cleveland in a week from now. They'll be doing that.
But I mean that they opened the stadium already.
Oh, well, right.
For logistics or whatever that's worth.
Yeah, right.
They already did that.
Yeah,
so
I don't. Yeah,
Allen doesn't have to.
I don't think
get to know.
Yeah, but what I was saying about the joint practice thing is we've talked over the last couple of years. Sal's made the point that teams that they're doing these joint practices and they feel like it's a good way to get starters time against another team. It's still controlled, so it's not all live, full out hitting. But you're facing another team, and it sort of takes the place of playing in the preseason.
Yeah.
So the Bills have that with Cleveland. So I hope Allen doesn't play, and I would predict that he doesn't.
It is their first game in there, selling tickets, playing someone else that maybe for
I want to not care
symbolic
at all about
purposes.
That. Yeah, I hear you.
But they did just do this on Saturday, and maybe that's a reason why they wouldn't need to go there this time.
We haven't heard anything on that front, just so I don't want to confuse anyone, but I would guess no, but what you're saying could be a factor.
We have the defensive coordinator today saying, quote, I think the plan is for guys to play. He'd want to find out, I would think, at some point here, if he doesn't know.
And I think he's talking about his side of the ball there.
Is that different? Would that be not like a team-wide philosophy?
I mean, I don't need – we talked about this with Paul earlier. I don't need starting receivers to play if Allen's not playing. To me, it would make sense for Coleman to play because he hasn't been a starting player, although, curiously, on this depth chart the Bills just released today, I've never really understood why the team puts out something and then says it's unofficial. Is that so that we don't hold you to it? I mean, I know it's training camp. I know this might be in flux, but why? Every team does, not just the Bills. Today was unofficial depth chart day. I saw the Chiefs. I saw the Bengals. I saw a number of teams, and Bills followed suit. And Keon Coleman is in a starter spot. Their top 3 receivers on the depth chart, outside receiver, DJ Moore, slot receiver Shakir, other outside receiver Coleman. Palmer is behind Moore.
I think the sports world needs to take another look, or maybe a first look, at what the word official means. Who cares if you call it official or unofficial? You're putting out the depth chart. I'm not saying you.
No, I know.
If you're putting out the depth chart, that's the depth chart.
Right.
Well, official, unofficial, who cares? If I call it official and you don't want me to, so what? I mean, what are you going to do? Just change it. I mean, just don't even adhere to it when the real game's come.
Unofficial implies that like Sneaky Joe DiBiase made the depth chart for them.
It's just such a useless word.
My guess might be that it's a PR exercise and that the coaching staff doesn't really get in there with a
great job.
A highlighter going, no, this guy's wrong. That guy belongs here. Like that they're just taking a shot at it from watching practices.
That there might be some deadline today to release something?
I don't know.
Yeah, great job. Well, we didn't actually talk to our coaches about this.
But Coleman is in a starter spot. And I did not know that. I didn't know that 2 hours ago.
No, I can't wait for ADP chasing tonight to be completely overwhelmed with depth chart talk. Oh, my God. It's going to be an extra hour.
See, aren't you glad I tipped you off to that?
Yes.
You didn't know that it was depth chart day.
I will just try my best not to bring that up, because once those guys start tapping into depth charts and see that wherever Keaton Mitchell is ranked and all these other...
Is this Davis Maddock? Who I'm going to text somebody.
Davis is at the airport. We might not have Davis.
I don't know.
Corrane and Sanderson are the bigger
these guys' numbers.
Issues.
You're my conduit to all these people.
All right. Well, I can handle it.
Depth charts.
The Bills over-under, we touched on this briefly like an hour ago, in the division this year. We'll talk about that a little bit. 803-0550 is the number here. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
on the injury front as the Buffalo Bills were back on the practice field earlier this morning. No sign of Ty Johnson, Skylar Bell, Connor McGovern, Maxwell Harrison, Cole Bishop, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And up next for the Bills, they are off tomorrow, so the earliest we'll hear from head coach Joe Brady is on Thursday. But before practice today, we did hear from defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, who seemed to give us a bit of a hint on what the plan could be for preseason game number 1, at least on defense.
I think the plan is for guys to play and get a taste of the scheme. As far as I'm concerned, guys are going to go play. To be determined a little bit on how much, but it's going to be exciting for guys to get out there and just kind of let it rip.
Bills host the Panthers on Saturday at 1 p.m. Before preseason games do get underway, though, the Vikings have already named their starting quarterback. They are going with former Cardinals QB Kyler Murray. And with that, the Vikings have now had 4 different Week 1 starters over the past 4 years. Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins, he was carted off the field earlier today with what appeared to be a lower leg injury, but later reports do have it to be no structural damage, so good news for Wiggins there. And then Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua, he left practice earlier today, but according to head coach Sean McVay after practice, they are unsure of what exactly the injury was. Bison's on the road tonight, taking on Worcester. First pitch at 6:45. Yankees home against Seattle at 7:05. A little bit later on, 7:07, the Jays host the Red Sox, and then at 7:15, the Mets, they are down in Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Caller 5 at 716-221-4WGR. That's 4947. Wins a pair of tickets to Rock the Country at the Hamburg Fairgrounds September 11th and 12th, featuring Hank Williams Jr., Chris Jansen, Kid Rock, Gavin Adcock, and more. Visit rockthecountry.com for details. And if you can get them to play Limelight.
Look at you dropping Rush.
I'd like to throw something extra in, but I don't really have the license to do that. Yes, I know.
I have so many friends that have been to shows. They have been through Toronto recently, I believe, a few shows in Toronto, Rush. And it just looks amazing. Like I never, ever could get there. Like it was just too – I got a vocal problem. Like just the high end screechy sort of, it's not screechy, it's insulting, but like it just doesn't work for me. That falsetto sort of metal singing that I feel like Geddy Lee uses a lot that makes me nutty. Just such an intricate, like the more I've learned about music from trying to play it, and I'm still like absolutely someone who's better, I might be better sort of just banging on a guitar than playing it. It's just so incredible, like what they pull off. And the new drummer is unreal. They're replacing the great Neil Peart. So anyway, Rush, everyone. A little Rush segment for you.
Yeah. Is that a Zeppelin thing for you too?
Yes.
With Robert Plant?
Yes. It's why I never dug in on them until I inherited my father-in-law's Zeppelin albums. Like, okay, I'm going to listen. Okay, yeah, there's a lot here that I can get into that gets, sort of, I don't know, forgives, whatever. It just, I don't have to focus on that vocal range that just sort of makes me nuts. But yeah, any singer, Chris Cornell's a great vocalist. One of the great, late great Chris Cornell. He would also reach that register, and that just is like, that's a,
He has a cover of the Sinead O'Connor hit.
Oh, God, yeah.
Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah.
That's famous.
That cover and his song Seasons from the Singles soundtrack are the songs if Soundgarden fans out there right now are yelling at me. Those are the songs I would say, like, you want to hear Chris Cornell sing, go get those songs.
I respect that. I'd like to hear Sinead O'Connor sing myself.
Yeah, well.
That's pretty legendary.
Yeah, sadly.
R.I.P. The last time the Bills did not finish a regular season with a winning record within their division. So today I saw from Bet Online the odds or the lines, win-loss, on wins within your division. And the Bills were listed at 4.5 wins. And I think probably this has come up. I love anything. Would you take? I don't think there's even a question about the Bills in this area because I think most people would not take 4-2. And I think most people would take 5-1. Maybe it's like 90% in both cases.
Yeah.
Where 10% of the fans might be like, I want to go for 6-0 in the AFC East. And 10% of the fans might feel like 4-2 is good.
Yeah.
But I think almost everybody would love 5-1. I mean, that's a good season.
Absolutely signed for 5-1.
You drop one game. I mean, you lost in
heartbeat.
Miami last year. You've lost games at the Jets a couple of times. That opener.
Yeah, right. I mean, I said earlier we were talking about the Dolphin Jet games being together both times, right? Separated by however many weeks. Yep. They are separated, but they play the Dolphins and the Jets in back-to-back weeks both times they play them this year. And you better not lose one. But, it's a lot to assume you're just going to win any game, right? I mean, it's just health and, who knows, right? But those teams are going to be so down. Yeah, absolutely. I would take a split with New England right now and go sweep those two doormats.
One thing that is a little bit in your craw when it comes to this is that last game of the year, although the Bills have won it against the Jets, they lost in New England, didn't they, a couple of years ago?
Right.
Joe Milton.
Right.
But, if you're taking out your stars for that game, and that's always a division game necessarily. This year, that's the Jets again.
Yeah.
Then,
right. If you don't need
fight.
it, then there's 4-2 with an asterisk, kind of like I didn't need the game. Nobody played. Whatever. Although, like you said, yeah, they did win that. They annihilated Miami one year in that game, and Allen did play in that game, and they beat them by 30. That was a game Miami needed. The Bills didn't. It was still one of the most incredible games in this run to me.
2018. Allen's rookie year is that game, isn't it? 42-17?
No.
There's another one then.
Yeah, 56-26. Yeah, Miami still was alive.
Yeah.
The Bills were, I don't know if they didn't need it. I don't know if they could have improved anything. My sense is no. But Allen played the first half, and they 56-26 is the score.
That's the COVID year.
Yeah, okay.
The last time they did not finish the season with a winning record within the AFC East is 2019, where they went 3-3. But that includes a loss to the Jets in the finale at home, where
you were already going on the road.
They were clinched in the playoffs,
right.
13-6. I don't know if Allen probably came out of that game. Maybe Darnold didn't. They lost the week before in Foxborough on that Saturday. That was a bigger game.
Oh yeah,
at New England. So they were 3-1 in the division, sweeping Miami, beating the Jets early, losing to New England at home, and then losing the last two.
That New England game was fun. Deion Dawkins caught a touchdown pass in that game. John Brown had a big post pattern, middle of the field. Right. Yeah, you can still see.
I wasn't here.
I wasn't either.
Okay.
I was in Princeton. I was on a hockey trip with Nichols. I watched that game in this really cool old hotel bar with a bunch of hockey families. It was a really fun night, although they lost.
Yeah, the Brown play was a pretty big moment in that season and sort of the evolution of all this is that long pass from Allen. Because Allen, the first year or two, he was always missing deep balls, overthrown. And here was one, always I say, here was one where it was pinpoint accurate to Brown to put them ahead in the second half at Foxborough. And that was kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
The Bills did lose that game, but still, all right, well, that was exciting.
Yeah.
And then they were in the playoffs.
They were coming. You could see them. They were coming.
And that team deserved to be in the playoffs. I mean, the 17 team was a super total fluke, but this one in 19, 10 wins with the last game being a dud, and then they went to Houston.
The Thanksgiving win in Dallas. There were some really good moments in that year.
Right. So 4.5 is the number in the division, and I don't know when they last had a losing record against the AFC East, but 19 is the last time they didn't have a winning record, 3-3. Can you believe, by the way, still, every time I think of it, I want to say it, that the Jets did not have an interception last year?
It will always be incredible. It will never fail to be incredible.
We went to the master of statistics, Aaron Schatz. Like, Aaron, I know this is off topic. Is it not insane that a team could go 17 games without a single pick? He's like, yes. It's unbelievable that happened. Tip a pass.
Right.
Not hit the quarterback.
Like a fat guy interception on a tip pass, whatever. Yeah.
Can somebody jump a route, for God's sake?
Right.
Can somebody jump a route?
For a while, they had Sauce Gardner on their team.
We are 2-9. Do you think maybe somebody could take a chance?
Right.
Maybe step in front of the guy, just dive for a ball and tip it up? Did not happen a single time. I wonder how many close ones there were. I'd like to watch a YouTube reel of almost interceptions by the 2025 Jets. I would watch that. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after this break here on WGR. Welcome back. The Bisons are on the road this week in Worcester, right? First game of a 6-game series tonight. Coming off a pretty good week last week against Norfolk. Your Norfolks, your Worcesters. This is the International League. These are the names, right? None of this Round Rock. Right? I mean, Worcester, Norfolk. Now we're talking.
Scranton.
I went to Toledo.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What night was that? Like a week ago Saturday. Chicago to
Driving
Buffalo.
back here, you stopped
I stopped
in
in Toledo.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting much. But just a quick hotel search, day of, I found a hotel right downtown. And it happened to be right next to their ballpark. Now, when I was working for the Red Wings in the 90s, they played at a place called Ned Skelton Stadium. It was not
super
anybody's idea. Nobody
Yeah.
confused it with Camden Yards.
Right.
Ned Skelton Stadium. This place, though, they have, I don't know how old it is, but it looked like, now this was a rainy night and there was no game the week ago Saturday, but there was like a little district there.
Yeah.
That seemed good.
It's got to be old enough that when John Gale was traversing the country with his baseball playing son, he had another son that played pretty high-level hockey. He has been telling me about Toledo for years.
Okay.
Like he somehow or another he found his way there with his, I don't know, whatever. It's like you the whole scene around the ball. Everything you just said, he's been telling me for 10 years.
It looked like a nice little neighborhood ballpark spot with a nice newer stadium right there. I mean, I just booked a room because it was affordable, and I was on the 11th floor with a view of the river, the Maumee River, by the way, with a big bridge. It was a kind of a happening little thing. It was pouring the whole time. The night of, and then the next morning, I had plans to go to my great uncle's gravesite. My Uncle Cliff, who was a major league pitcher, died and was buried in Toledo. But it was a little bit the other way from home, and you have that, I got to get home. And it was just, the streets were flooding. I'm just not going to go 20 minutes that way and look for his gravesite and then basically add an hour to the trip. And somehow, I mean, other than the obvious simple math and geography, going to Cleveland, you and I, let's go to Cleveland. Super easy. 3:15, whatever that is.
Yep.
That's an easy trip. Toledo is farther.
Yeah,
it's more than that than you want it to be.
Yeah, I feel like that's 5. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
I've never been. John traveled with me through that part of the country one time. We were going somewhere in Indiana to see Owen play hockey, and you can see there's one spot from the whatever it is, 80 or I don't remember whichever interstate you're on there, and off on if you're driving west, off on your right, you can see Toledo in the distance. That's my Toledo experience. And then John will tell me about the ballpark and everything you just said. I'm telling you, it's really great. I was there, blah 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 blah. So, but I've never been to Toledo.
Okay,
just past. I wouldn't even say adjacent. Yeah, Cleveland, Cannacorn, Pittsburgh, same thing. I'm driving to Pittsburgh Saturday.
That's a good 4, isn't it? 3.5?
3.5 tops.
Tops. Man, I don't know.
I may have to go
How do you do it?
I'm going to, it's a night game. I'm going to get out of here. It's going to the time that I'm planning on leaving is going to coincide with Bills traffic. The Bills play at 1 o'clock.
Saturday.
I got a 7 o'clock baseball game.
Okay,
I want to be in Pittsburgh by 4 o'clock. I was planning on leaving around noon. So I got to figure out how I want to sort of circumvent the stadium traffic.
That's
there
right.
will be stadium traffic then.
The Red Sox are in Toronto again. A wild play last night was a very weird one. But Toronto, the run counted anyway. Toronto still won the game 2-1. And so rematch tonight. Charles McAdoo, who's been a nice player for the Bisons this year, is back in the lineup.
He was the IL player of the week last week and got called up.
He's in the leadoff spot tonight, batting third. And good luck with Dylan Cease. The Blue Jays have had a lousy year, but he's been great.
How do you get in the leadoff spot batting third?
Batting third. McAdoo? I said playing third.
Okay. You said leadoff spot batting third.
Okay, no, that's never
third.
happened in the history of baseball.
That would be strange.
That's one thing that they say when you go to a baseball game, you always see something you've never seen. Last night in Toronto, yes.
Yes, fourth out.
The fourth out. But no, leading off and playing third is McAdoo.
Okay.
Who's just up.
Good
and
deal.
he has a home run in a few games in a row, including Buffalo. Did he homer last night?
I don't know. I never looked at the
2-1?
box. I just saw the score and didn't even. And then the fourth out stuff.
Tampa is running away with that division now. 6.5, 7 game lead, and Boston's 8.
They lost 2 of 3 to Oakland or the A's, and now lost the opener to Toronto last night. So
it's kind of boring. Like they're perfectly set up for wild card, Yankees too, but they're not close to the division lead right now. Tampa is rolling. Big comeback last night against the Athletics out west. We'll just call it out west. Paul Hamilton earlier with the latest from Bills practice. Next, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.